There we go. Wondering what happened to my camera. What's going on, everybody? Looks like we're live. Welcome. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Got Whitelist, see Penguin, Random L Deuterino, welcome, Lunar, Keon, Goku, K, Maddie, Streamer Momo, let's go, Remco, Gamer Girl. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well today. Welcome, 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 welcome. We're back with another stream. Streamer consistently, well, somewhat consistently streaming. Is this real? We're back, though. I wanted to do something different today, you know? Do something a bit more focused on fan interaction. I think it'd be a good way to kind of combine two things together. I can chill with you guys, talk to chat, and also do a series that people have really seemed to enjoy on the channel. Hey, yo, Peter, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Hopefully the notification will play. I don't know for sure. Gonna hope that Streamlabs eventually pulls it up. We'll see. I'm sure it'll come up. Thank you, though, Peter. Appreciate it a lot. And then, oh, there it is. Oh, there's the dono. Where's the membership?
As a Fusion fan, it is a shame to see them gone, but I will be supporting the new Soul team.
Ah, okay. Well, thank you, 20 BMG. I don't know if I mispronounced that. Thank you for the 5. As a Fusion fan, it's a shame to see them gone, but I will be supporting the new Soul team. Well, it's cool to see some people staying loyal. It's awesome of you. It's understandable if anyone wants to leave, but it's cool that you're willing to stay. You love that. Hey, Evan. Just watching your video and you went live? Well, welcome. Why did the membership notification pop up? That's annoying. Good morning, Opposed. As a Boston fan, I am more excited than I have been in my memory. I mean, yeah, this is easily, at least on paper, the best roster they've ever fielded, like, without question. So, yeah, I'd be excited, too. I'd be pretty darn excited, too. Alright, what's going on with this alert box? Why did my membership notification not go off, huh? That is annoying. Hold on, let me test member. Will this work? Okay, well, for some reason it just didn't go off then. That's weird. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I am very sorry again that your membership did not show up on stream. But, yeah. Saw a notification of you being live and clicked so hard. I appreciate that. I'm fine with Soul Infernal, but I'm not a Fusion fan. Yeah, that's fair. You think the Shock will finally get over their finals problems? And with the roster they're looking to field? Yeah, probably. Hope you have a good day. You too, Ruka. Congrats for being a member. Lol. Yeah, it's annoying my Streamlabs didn't have that come up. But, oh, hello, Manic. Vegas fans are crying. True. How long am I planning on streaming? We'll see how it goes. We'll see how I'm feeling. Is it just me or Owl just not the same since Overwatch 2? I mean, obviously it's going to feel different, so to a certain extent you're right. I appreciate that, Dark. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, the main focus is going to be like the overrated, underrated, properly rated, but we'll talk about off-season stuff as well. Kind of just waiting for people to click on the stream, so we just got started a couple of minutes ago. So yeah. Yeah, that's also true though. We did have the best Overwatch League Grand Finals. Like, consider proper to be what now? I don't get the reference. Shock's roster right now is pretty darn stacked. I mean, there's rumors Violet could be leaving, but even if he does, Finn proper, Heesong, Max, Vindame is great. There's rumors they're getting Hisu as well, and Junbin, so Shocker looking pretty good. They are 0-2 Blast, which is not a bad thing by any means. How good is Mag? We'll talk about that. That's a good place to maybe start. RUI going to be huge for the Spark? True. The Hees are lease indeed. As a Shanghai fan, I'm excited, but also scared for the first time in 3 years. It's going to be weird. Yeah, it is a pretty weird spot to be in if you're a Shanghai fan. It's a new era, but it could be exciting, you know? It's a brand new start, new players to cheer for. You never know what could happen. Would you prefer split region Season 6 or to go back to normal? I prefer normal, but that's just not an option. What's going on with Violet? Yeah, I don't really know exactly. The rumor is he could be leaving. That's all I know. Still waiting for a Toronto announcement. Yeah, it'll come soon enough. Sugar Freeze was really good back in his heyday. It's hard to say how he'll be in the modern day, but he has a lot of talent, so don't be surprised if he really, plays well. The current top 3 rosters looks right now, I'd say it's pretty hard to not go with, like, Shock, Atlanta Reign, Outlaws, or maybe, Boston, I think Shock Reign and Outlaws, I'd probably say, or Shock Reign Boston, something like that. I think those are like the definitive 4 best right now, though. American Tornado to Toronto rumors are true. I'm excited to see what the fully NA team will do. Yeah. How do I rate Zephyr? He's the GOAT. He's underrated for sure. Totally. Yo, Joseph. Fleta for properly over... I'll write it down. Fleta. Is it still a hot take to say Violet is the GOAT? Not necessarily. Yeah, I don't think Dallas are... I think Dallas's backline just got a lot weaker. I don't think they're top 3 anymore at this point. How do I rate Pine? I personally, while love Pine, think he's overrated. Peanut butter is overrated in mid, to be honest. I like peanut butter. I guess I suppose that we could expand that topic to anything you guys want. I mean, I was mostly thinking Overwatch, but whatever's good for you. What's the time for rated request? I'm just going to wait a few moments for people to pile into stream, and then we'll get into it. Choice A1, that's a good one. I love me some Choi. Crunchy or smooth peanut butter, though? I prefer smooth, but I'll do both. Pineapple on pizza, overrated, IMO. How do you rate Shockwave? That's the question I've been asking since you've commenced the series. I'll write that down, too. Godspeed. There's a lot of good ones. What's your opinion on Mayhem? I consider them a dark horse top 5 team. I think that's a fair assumption to say. Do I necessarily think they'll be top 5? No. But they could sneak up on some people, I think for sure. If people don't pay attention, they will, seriously. Like, just take advantage of that. I promise you. They have a lot of talent. Favorite Doritos flavors? Sweet chili. Sweet spicy chili. Okay. So now I think we've kind of stabilized with people joining the stream for the most part. So I think we're going to get started with this live underrated, overrated, properly rated. If you're just joining and maybe this is your first time hearing about it, how it goes is I got this as inspiration from Barry McCockiner. He is a sports YouTuber. He's been doing that series for quite a long time now, and I figured why not put my own twist on it with Overwatch and esports and everything. And essentially, you just name me a player or anything else, you know, past or present, either one in professional Overwatch. And if I know them, I'll tell you if I think they're overrated, underrated, or properly rated within the community. Like, just like the general consensus of how I feel when I hear people talk about this guy, and my personal opinion. Guy or girl, I guess I could say, because some people might throw in a female player. That's basically the gist of it, though. It's pretty simple. I'm just going to go through whatever request you guys have. I'm not going to get to everybody, but I will try my best. I'm writing things down as I see them. But I hope you guys enjoy. It's going to be a fun stream. We could probably have some really good conversations. So I'm just going to go through the quick list that I just wrote down of some ones that I saw in chat, and then we'll go from there. So the first one that caught my eye was Fleta. And I think it really depends on the context with somebody like Fleta. If we're talking like a all-time evaluation of Fleta, then he's absolutely properly rated because he's probably, he's one of the best flex DPS of all time. It goes without question. He's been in the league since day one. He's a champion. He's been an MVP. But if you think about it from like this year, if you're going off of just this year, some people maybe overrate him slightly because he honestly didn't play that well and looked pretty unmotivated. So it depends on the context with somebody like Fleta. Hot take, Fleta's overrated. I mean, yeah, this year he just wasn't very good. That's just how it goes. The next I saw that I wanted to talk about was Choice A1. I love Choice A1 to death, and I think maybe because he played on Guangzhou Charge, people don't give him enough love. I think he's always been a pretty explosive player since he joined the league. So I'm going to say Choice A1's maybe slightly underrated. I know a lot of people love him, but also a lot of people don't talk about him at the same time. Because, again, he plays in APAC, Guangzhou Charge. Not everybody's watching him play, but he's just a really reliable flex player, you know? Tracer, Genji, Echo, Pharah, whatever it may be. He's usually pretty darn good. He's just had the misfortune of playing on some teams that aren't quite like playoff caliber. And I think if he did play in a playoff caliber team, he'd shine much brighter than what he's shown us. He definitely deserves more respect. He's a solid option. What's the next one? Shockwave, I saw someone say before. To answer your question on Shockwave and what I think of him, I think he's probably in the properly rated range. I don't think anyone's going out of their way to overhype this guy to the moon and back, but I think most people know that he's also a pretty decent player. He's not like this, average, below average player. Most people recognize that. He's had good performances on Vancouver, and that's, it's mostly all he's played for in his Overwatch League career. But, like, when he did play on Philly at times, he looked good. Like, I just think he's an all-around good DPS player who has shown skill in a variety of different metas throughout his career. And I do hope that he joins the Overwatch League yet again someday. The next I saw that I wrote down was Soon. And I think that Soon is pretty properly rated. He's kind of a French legend, an Overwatch legend in general, especially like from Rogue and like his early Overwatch League days. Pretty famous within the community. Always a very reliable DPS player. He had some hiccups in the GOATS meta, but so did that whole Paris team. Generally, he was a really good hit scan on Tracer and Widowmaker, and he got really, really good by the end of Season 1. I love Soon a lot. That's kind of biased because I was a Valiant fan back then, but I always thought that Soon was a great player and one of the biggest bright spots on the LA Valiant. You could maybe say he's a little overrated at the end of his career. I agree with that. But in general, I think he's in that properly rated range because he gets a lot of respect, but nobody, puts him up there as like one of the greatest players in the history of Overwatch League. Just really, really good and a French legend. Popping in for a bit. What's up, Genesis? I saw another one that caught my eye being Godsby. And honestly, I think Godsby's a little underrated. I don't think people remember him enough, which is sad because he was pretty consistent on the Spark. Never like mind-blowingly good, but always someone they could count on when he played for them. Especially like 2019, Zarya was like not talked about enough IMO. And when he got to play Hitskin, like late 2019, his Reaper was good. In 2020, he was good. Just a good all-around player. I don't really have any complaints for somebody like Godsby. He's never going to blow you away, but I feel like people don't talk about him. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because he was on the Spark, and maybe, yeah, like you're saying, Spark, Xe, maybe Shy kind of got people to forget all about any of their other DPS players, like, ever. But I think Godsby deserves a bit more respect for being a pretty consistent hit-scan player back in his heyday. Next I saw, there's two more on the list before I get to things that I see in the chat that kind of catch my eye. So the next one that I wanted to write down was Mag. I saw a bunch of Mag. A bunch of people were saying, what's your opinion on Mag when I was first starting the stream. And it's really hard with Mag, because we're kind of in a situation now where he's never really been an ultimate superstar. And that's disappointing to some people, because a lot of people thought he had the potential to be like a top 5 main tank / tank in general in the league. And he hasn't really realized that potential. And some people are still clinging on to that potential, and they're hoping he can be that guy, so they're maybe slightly overrating him. But I honestly hear a lot more Mag hate than I do love right now in his current state. And when I just look at how he's done in his career so far, he's been fine. It's just he's been in some misfortune at times. Those Justice teams were always amazing. The Boston situation was weird. I think it's worth giving him another chance before really judging him. He's been perfectly fine. Solid when he does have the right support around him. So I think Mag is properly rated, personally. And then finally is BQB, the last guy I saw on the list. I actually saw that in chat a couple of times. BQB. His career started off not good. In 2019, I was a big BQB hater. I thought he kind of sucked, to be honest with you. He picked it up in Stage 4, but he was nothing special. But then in 2020, he kind of kicked it up a notch, you know? His hit scan became not elite, but very reliable. He benched Saya player. I mean, Saya also wanted to leave, but BQB was playing Cassidy over him. His Widow looked good. His Sombra was always a little overrated in my eyes. His Reaper was definitely not talked about enough. I thought BQB Season 3, and maybe a little bit in Season 4 was really good. So I think if you average out all of the seasons together and how he's played from his rookie year until the end, he's pretty on the properly rated spectrum. Nobody's loving that guy to death, but I think people appreciate what he did for Florida back then as like a good 1-2 punch with Yaki and a really good Ashe for sure. So I'll go with properly rated. Again, sorry if I don't get to everyone in chat. I'm trying my best. All right, I'm opening up the floor. Let's see what Norman says. Snillo. Snillo, the problem with Snillo is I don't know if he necessarily played enough on Philly Fusion back in the day. He had his shining moments, like in Stage 2 especially. His Tracer played a pretty big role in helping them get to the Stage 2 finals. He was like a good substitutional piece. I liked how sneaky he was on that hero. But I felt like things kind of fell off for him after that point in time. You saw less and less playtime, and it's kind of hard to remember what he did. Didn't do all that much in Contenders either, and then he kind of just disappeared forever, really. Picking mushrooms in the woods or however it goes. I like Snillo, though. I think he's properly rated. I think Philly fans appreciate what he did, and that's what matters the most. Players that never played like Avast and Mendo. OWL players are Contenders as well. I mean, you can say Contenders players at your own risk, because there's a solid chance I won't know who they are, especially if it's like in the modern day. But yeah, I'm pretty open to anybody. It can be pre-OWL as well. Like if you want to go with an Apex player, Contender Season 0, like We'll see if I know who they are. I'll put it that way. Let's see. How about Note? Note, I think, is properly rated. He was really good at the start of his career, and he got a lot of praise for his diva, like 2018, early 2019. But I felt like once the off-tank pool kind of started to expand, that his play started to fall off. His hero pool really got exposed. His Zarya and his Hog just weren't up to par. So I think when you combine it and like do like an average, Note is pretty properly rated. People hate on him. Some people love him for his early days. So I think it's pretty fair to call him like properly rated. Space. Oh, I saw Challenger, by the way. It's up, Challenger. I think Space is on like the properly rated range. He's always been a reliable off-tank. I don't think anyone really puts him up there as, you know, like a top-tier guy. Well, like, tippity top. He's always been good, though, from start to finish in his career. I don't really have much else to say. I watched Space very closely during his Valiant days. He was always one of the bright spots. Always, always, always. Good on the diva, of course. His Sig was good. His Zarya was decent. Hog was good. He could do pretty much anything. He even showed he could play Junker Queen this year. I like Space as a player, so I think he's properly rated. I still wonder if Snillo knows what happened to Alarm or even with Fusion. I'm sure he does to a certain extent. MN3 or Zest. I think they're both pretty properly rated. They're kind of recognized as the bright spots of Philly last year. They're the future pieces. I mean, Zest literally got recognition as an MVP candidate. So there's that. People recognize he's a beast. MN3 could maybe say he's a little slightly overrated for inconsistency issues, but I think it's fine to say he's properly rated. Twilight, definitely properly rated. I think most people see Twilight as one of the greatest flex supports of all time without question. Hisu, I've seen a ton of people calling him mid/bad. Is that so? People think Hisu is mid/bad? Really? Hisu is amazing. Like, not like top tier, but Hisu has always been a really good player, being on Sombra, Ashe, Sojourn. I think this year really solidified Hisu as a really good hit scan player. The Hisu slander, I can't believe it. Hisu's a good player, man. Yaki? I still think he's about properly rated. He was the carry of NYXL for the most part in most people's eyes. I think the problem with Yaki is that he's been a bit more quiet recently. But he's been on a bad team these last few years, so he's been trying his best. I can't really hate on him too much for that. How about Muse? Was he better than Mag? They're about equal, I'd say. Muse is about properly rated. He was a bit disappointing, just like Mag, had a lot of potential, but I think this year in particular, he saw a drop compared to his rookie year. Just wasn't anything special. So I think Muse is about properly rated. No one's writing home about the guy, you know? Sanguinar? Yeah, I think Sanguinar is a little underrated. I thought he was pretty darn good on 2020 London. I'd love to hear your opinion on Shou Chang. I think he had a lot of potential. I'm not even joking. I mean, at the OWL level, it wasn't really his fault. He played on arguably the worst team ever, or second worst, depending on who you're talking to. But I've heard he's done some good things in contenders recently, so I'll put an asterisk next to that, because I don't really know what to say. Probably properly rated, but we'll have to see. Erster? Properly rated for the simple fact that he had a drop-off after 2019. 2019, he was quite arguably the best flex DPS in the game for some people. And then in 2020, he kind of fell off a cliff. Like, it's not totally his fault. Atlanta were a disaster at the coaching spot. But I don't think he was helping. And he just didn't look like that same elite X factor. So I'm pretty comfortable saying Erster is, like, properly rated if you go off of, like, a happy medium. Someone I think is underrated because his hero pool is insane. He is a good leader, and he just doesn't get enough credit. In my opinion, should have been a role star. Doha? I think he's a little underrated. He's always been really good. The issue is that he's, these last few years on Dallas, he hasn't had as much of a chance to start. Well, actually, this year, I should say. I always thought Doha was good at his job, though, and he doesn't always get the credit. How do I rate Mono? Properly rated. A lot of people recognize Mono as one of the all-time greats of the league. For the bottom tier teams now, Aspire was the best Sojourn. Yeah, he was nasty. Effect. I think Effect is maybe a little underrated or properly rated. No, I'm going to say under because he had like that star potential, but he played on Dallas. Whenever I watched him play, he would carry. It would mean absolutely nothing like 80% of the time. It was kind of sad, and it makes me wonder how Effect could have done if he played on a better team back then. Like, if let's say he was on Seoul instead of Dallas, it makes me wonder how he'd do with, like, better support around him. Although, for all we know, Seoul still could have imploded even with Effect back then. Might not have made a difference, but you kind of get my idea. I like Effect. What do I think about Libero? Libero is underrated. I feel like it's not that, like, people insult him. It's that I'm hearing less and less talk about him, even though he was always a good player from the start of his career until the end. I always thought he was arguably the most reliable player in NYXL's history because of his flexibility and how he could literally play everything for them, both projectile and hit scan. He did it for literally like 3 years, and he doesn't always get that credit. So I think Libero's a little on the underrated side. And yeah, same thing with SBB. The same exact things I said with Libero. I don't think Overwatch League was good for Effect. Oh no, you're totally right. It absolutely burnt out his mental because he just wanted to be the best. It was awful. Ding, a little underrated. He was a big-time carry for Shanghai in 2019 with the Pharah and the Sombra. Although, to be fair, he did, I think, get a role star, if I remember correctly, back then. So can I really say he's underrated? I don't really know. EasyHan? Properly rated. I mean, nothing amazing, but not bad. You could say slightly underrated if you wanted to. But that's as far as I'd go. Krong? Yeah, I think he's properly rated because he did get a lot of recognition in 2020. I mean, he was like in the MVP conversation, if I remember correctly. Or maybe he didn't, I don't remember. But he was like right there. He was one of the best off tanks in the game. And then, what happened last year was kind of a shame. So it kind of balances out. I'd say he's properly rated. I like Krong. He was one of the best off tanks in the world back in the day. In my opinion, Ding was overrated. He was too one-dimensional outside of Fair and Sombra, which is fair, because you're right to a certain extent. Once the meta kind of shifted, he was not nearly as useful as Mei was atrocious. QOQ? I don't really think he played that much. I mean, probably the properly rated range. He was good, but not amazing. Did Sam get overshadowed? I think Sam was just in a unlucky situation. Being a flex DPS on the same team as Proper. He was good when he played, it's just there wasn't always going to be a reason for him to. So maybe a little overshadowed. It's not his fault. He's a perfectly fine player. Arhan? Properly rated. No one really talked about him. And for good reason. Onigod? Properly rated. Slime. Ooh, Slime's a good one. What's up, Cam? Slime... I think the problem with Slime that makes him go from, like, decently rated to maybe slightly overrated is that people just remember what he did in 2019 and nothing beyond that. And when you look at how he did on other heroes not named Lucio, he wasn't all that impressive, which breaks my heart because I am a huge Slime fan, but that's just the sad truth. Whenever Seoul tried to field him, he wasn't good. Whenever Florida fielded him, wasn't that special outside of the Lucio. So Slime, I think, just because of that hero pool, is maybe a little overrated. XQC overrated. Hey, I said it. Wow. I think Aspire could be a role star contender on a better team. Probably not. There's just his position's just too loaded. Kai? Kai Thing's pretty properly rated. He's always been an elite hit scan. Not much else to say. He was a carry multiple times in his career. Kai is a good player. BQB. We talked about BQB earlier. I said he is properly rated just because he had a couple of good years and a bad one, so it kind of evens out. Hoxel, oh, properly rated. He's one of the best flex DPS ever in most people's eyes. Your Seagull take last vid was mega biased. I mean, yeah. What do you expect? It's my opinion. Of course it's going to be biased. Babel from Season 3 Spitfire. He's just alright. Raucous. Oh god. Properly rated. Although honestly, with how much hate he could get, or how much hate he does get, you could maybe argue underrated just because people hated him beyond belief, but it felt like most of the hate was justified because he really was that bad, so properly rated, I'd say. I simply disagree. Ah, yes. Hacksaw. Apply? Didn't play that much. Sanguinar, I think, is slightly underrated, personally. Tuba. Honestly, maybe slightly underrated. He was bad when Justice were bad, but when Justice, like, you know, got to a better meta for him, like in the Genji meta, he started to carry them more. And then in the playoffs, he was pretty decent for them. So you could maybe argue that he's a little underrated. But then again, it's kind of like the Ding situation where it was mostly on like two heroes, but maybe a little underrated. Slightly. Very slightly. So what meta was it? It was Summer Showdown or like Countdown Cup, one of the two, where he carried them pretty hard on Genji. You should do a tier list. I'm probably going to do that as stream content eventually. Not today, but I'm thinking I will at some point. I probably want to have moderators for something like that because it's probably going to be an absolute war zone in my chat. Where do you put Hisu? I think Hisu's properly rated. Jangu, I think, is overrated. I thought outside of Rani wasn't that impressive, to be honest with you. Gator, properly rated. He had his moments. Fury, properly rated. I mean, this year he wasn't good, but if we're talking all time, I mean, he's one of the best off tanks ever, no question. Alpha Yi, properly rated. He was pretty hyped up. Sparker to Infernal Rumors. Is that an actual thing, though? Because that just doesn't make any sense to me. I think Sparker's properly rated. I thought he was good this year. Gator peaked when he charged super off the map in Nepal. Oh, it's a troll. I got you. I was gonna say, that has to be a troll, right? Dante specifically as a tank? Underrated. I thought he held his own, despite playing a role he's never played before. But I still think he should have been a role star. Maybe that's a bit too harsh. Maybe that's a bit too much, but that's my opinion. FD got on shock. Oh, dear lord. Surefour? No, we have not. That's a good one. Surefour, I'd say he's properly rated. You know, those first few years in the league, he was pretty good. He was never the best player in the world, but he had some pretty good moments for the LA Gladiators, and he improved pretty steadily throughout that first season in particular, especially in the Widowmaker as Cass. I like Surefour. At the time, he was one of, like, the premier Western talents we had, for sure. Mr. Lane Roberts. Admiral? Admiral is maybe a little underrated. I think that London backline maybe deserves a bit more credit than they actually get. You know, it's all focused on like Hottie and Sparker and Backbone, I feel like. But that backline was pretty reliable, and it's a big reason why London were able to change, because they were able to make upgrades there. So I'd say Admirals maybe on the underrated side. And yeah, Landon was also pretty excellent in that final meta. My current Rookie of the Year candidate, probably either Max or Heesung from the Shock. Shockwave I did before. He's properly rated in my eyes. Sato. I think he's properly rated because he mostly just had that one good year on Philly in 2020, and the rest was kind of a blur for him. So I feel pretty comfortable saying he's in that like mid, you know, like sorry, my mic, mid like properly rated range. Changsik or Chongsik, however you want to say his name. Properly rated, nothing special. I did Mono, I think he's properly. Have I done Ben Best? No, but I think he's properly rated. Not that good in 2019, good in 2020. It evens out. The Scrim God Zephyr, the most underrated player ever, of course. Yveltal, also known as Xerneas, I think he's pretty properly rated. He's one of the better Chinese talents we have. Farway, I think he's just I think he's properly rated because no one really hates on him. Punk, I think, is a little underrated. He carried Boston pretty hard, and I think with a better team, Punk could be a solid player in this league. I mean, he already is a solid player, but he could, you know, get more attention, I should say. Kaluj and Poco. I'd say they're both properly. Piggy, properly. Zarya and Diva's always been pretty darn good. Adora? I think Adora's probably properly rated. I thought he was good, especially in GOATs, but not so great after that. I did Godspeed earlier. I think he's slightly underrated. Gargoyle. They're still, you know, I want to say underrated, but I still see a lot of Gargoyle fans come out from the woodwork occasionally to talk about how much they miss him. So I feel like he's more in that proper range. People still seem to remember his long-lasting impact. I mean, he's pretty damn good on Diva. As well as Sig. Gargoyle had to play with OG. This is true. EQO? I think given how reliable he's been throughout his career, you could maybe argue a little underrated. Finn, I think, is properly rated. He's one of the best supports, I think, in the league. Have I done Jexay yet, or Repel? No, I have not. I think Repel's properly. No one really mentions him much, rightfully so. And I think Jexay, as, you know, as much of a great guy as he is, he's a little overrated. I thought he was the weak link on Dallas, and it kind of showed this year when they got rid of him, IMO. I mean, obviously, getting a hit scan also helped them, but I felt like he just wasn't versatile enough. I like Jexay. I think he's fine. It's just I feel like some Dallas fans from 2021 go way too crazy with the love for him. I liked how he played on Houston a lot. He carried on Houston, but that's not saying much because Houston was bad then. My thoughts on the leaked Defiant roster, I'm a fan. At our right, Chipsa, I mean, he's the GOAT. He is 1-0 in Overwatch League maps. Perfect win percentage, greatest player ever. Pokpo? Honestly, I think he's maybe a little underrated. I always thought he was pretty good for Atlanta, those 2 years he played for them. Good Monkey, good Orisa. I mean, it was mostly just thinking 2019, though. You could say properly more than anything, because 2020 not as good. But he did split playtime, so it goes either way. I liked Pokeball, though. IDDQD played like one map, so properly rated. Baby Bay? I've done him before, and I firmly believe Baby Bay is underrated. He's better than I remember in 2018, playing for Shock, like after going back and watching some of those games. In 19, when he joined Atlanta, honestly, it looked really good. And then up until he retired in 2020, I thought he was playing the best Overwatch of his career. Like, genuinely. Asher? Asher? Asher. There were things that I liked about Asher, but also things that I didn't. I thought his Tracer was pretty helpful for Glads, but I also felt like Glads as a whole were a better team without him that year. He was reliable, though. He was good. It's just, I wonder how they would have done if he played more. His expertise wasn't needed. I'll go properly rated, I guess. Big Goose and Shaz as a duo. As time goes on more and more, I think overrated. And it's not because of Shaz, it's mostly because of Big Goose, to be honest with you. Like, in 2018, they were one of the better backlines in the world. But as the years kept going on and the competition rose, their irrelevance went up and up and up. And I felt like Big Goose got worse as time went on. People just remember his boops from Season 1, I feel like, largely. So as a whole, he kind of tanks their ratings. So I'd say maybe a little overrated. Nico? Fans really don't like Nico for some reason. I mean, he was never anything special. He's just okay. Probably, like, if we're talking, like, if we're just going off performance, he's properly rated. But due to the amount of hate he gets online, you could say, like, underrated in an aspect. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but he was never anything special. Choi Hyobin. Choi is properly rated. I mean, there's more of an argument for other off-tanks now, but he's still one of the greatest ever at his role, without question. Super, properly rated. I didn't think Choi had a bad 2021. I wouldn't take it that far. It's just maybe not as good from compared to the standards we had to him. I did IDDQD. I mean, he didn't really play much, so I'd say properly rated. He was pretty talented hit scan player. Silk Thread. Maybe a hot take, but I think he's a little underrated. I thought Silk Thread on Valiant was good, and he had an actual role with them. But then MV, his off-tank teammate, was toxic, and that kind of ruined everything for him. Like, he was a really important piece of Valiant, like, Stage 1. People don't remember that. He was in a good rotation with Soon and with Agilities, and then it got ruined. But when he did play, he was reliable. I remember his Genji and, like, Pharah in specific being pretty decent. Fusions, I think, is, like, skill-wise, properly rated, but underrated as a leader. And like what? Oh no, I take that back. Not as a leader, just in general, what he contributed to Boston Uprising, I'd say underrated because he was so vocal about everything. He always tried his heart out. He always wanted to win. I love that about him. But if we're talking strictly skill, he's properly rated. He was nothing amazing outside of Ryan. Izayaki, properly rated. He's been one of the best flex supports the last, 3 years now. Fact Fiction. Fact Fiction is probably properly rated. I thought his, what he did on Valiant was pretty special. But he could never maintain a job in the league, which I think is a little telling. And from what I heard, internally, he'd get tilted pretty easily, which isn't great. So I'd say properly rated. Dak 2018 Shock. Properly rated because no one really rated him. Roar, properly rated. A lot of deserved criticism on his end. Teru, I think maybe a little underrated. I feel like people aren't talking about how good he was on that Kiriko meta for Spark. I thought he's one of the best Kirikos there was, for sure. It's debatable where you want to put him in the rank, so to speak, exactly, but he was good. And to his credit, even, when Spark were struggling, when he first got picked up, he was still alright. I've done Bumper before, and I think he's a little overrated. Because the Bumper has a very, very vocal fan base, and they tend to think of him as just this almighty god who can't be stopped. Some people are just memeing, but other people are dead serious, and I just disagree. I think outside of Ryan, he, could have maybe done a little better. But I do appreciate him in general as a pro player. Like, if we're talking outside of his OWL career, if we're talking his pro career as a whole, you could argue underrated for flexing onto multiple roles in his career. He played main tank, he played off tank, he played support. Like, he did it all. So it really depends on the context with Bumper. IMO. How do I feel about Dridro? I thought he was a little underrated. He was good on Paris, especially 2021. Yeah, I did Oni God. I think he's properly rated. No, I think Kevster is rightfully properly rated. I can't... There's just not a world where you can say he's an underrated player, in my opinion. When you're in the MVP conversation, when you're getting some of the most votes, when you're clearly one of the best players in the entire league, I don't think you could say he's underrated. I'll never forget when Bumper flexed on us by playing Hanzo on Anubis. Yeah, good times. Dalton and Rolf, pretty properly rated. Neither of them are special, and I think most people recognize that fact. Hydron? Maybe a little underrated. I don't feel like people talked about his sojourn enough. It was really consistent. And I think him going to Toronto potentially could be pretty big and not talked about enough. Alarm, properly rated. God rest his soul. One of the best to ever do it. No doubt about it. Muma Linkser. Oh, it's tough. Because, like, I know a lot of Outlaws fans have good memories of Muma. But outside of 2018, I think most people kind of recognize he wasn't very good. So I'd say Muma properly. And most people kind of nail the Linkser rating. We all know that at his peak, he can be unstoppable, but the inconsistency issues have always been there throughout his career, so I'll say probably properly for him too. But Doshin, maybe a little underrated for his flexibility. Hi, Sam. I'm doing all right. Corey? Properly rated. Really good hit scan, terrible Zarya. I did Yaki before. I think properly rated's a pretty fair placement for him. Remix, no opinion on him for most people, I'd say, so properly rated. Will the VOD go up? Yep, it will be up after stream ends. Verbo, properly rated. If we're talking his career as a whole, he played pretty good on Immortals, but on Valiant left a lot to be desired. I've done Jake in a past video. I think he's a little overrated as a player. Because I thought he was just so much better pre-OWL. And, like, outside of the Junkrat memes, I just didn't really see it with him. He had his moments for sure. But I felt like compared to a lot of the other Premier Flex DPS when he was a true starter, he wasn't able to keep up. Like on Farah and stuff like that. I loved his 76 and his Junkrat a ton, though. And I think pre-OWL, Jake was an absolute god. So with Jake, it's all about the context. If we're talking just OWL, overrated. His career as a whole, properly rated. Mistakes? I think, mistakes, he did get a lot of blame because he was kind of a filler piece. Unfortunate situation with Boston and Dream Casper and all of that. But he did what he could. He wasn't supposed to be their guy, but he did enough to still help them have that 10-0 stage. So I think underrated is maybe a little fair. I think Sephi is an underrated coach. Depends on the context because he's had both good and bad seasons. But the problem was, I feel like all the times where Sephi has been good, he's had really good assistant coaches. Persia, properly rated. Everyone knew that he wasn't good. Did anybody say no? Yeah, we talked about no. He's properly rated. He's his hero pool wasn't the greatest, but he did look really good at the beginning of his career, at least. Have I done Merit yet? No. And I think Mira is maybe slightly underrated still. I don't know why people don't talk about him, even though he's a beastly soldier and just general hit scan. It's really weird. I still hear people say that they didn't like Merritt that much, which is kind of mind-blowing to me. I've done Pine. I think he's overrated. Not that he was a bad player, like, no disrespect to Pine, just inconsistencies. I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum from you, Lucas. I think Nuss was heavily overrated in Season 1. I think London fans let it get to their heads because he was part of the championship team, but he just wasn't anything special. He just had to exist and not die as Mercy. That's all he had to do. He wasn't an impactful player by any stretch of the imagination in my eyes. And I think that they just, London got hot at the right time then, so he wasn't able to get exposed as much. And then when you look at what happened in 2019, they tried to replace him with Quartermain, who wasn't even that good. So I just think that Nuss is overrated, and London fans can't get it out of their head. I don't know what it is. You think Sparkle is overrated and that is your hot take? Yeah, that is a hot take indeed. Have I done Shadowburn? No, but I think Shadowburn is, like, in a tough spot. Because when you actually watched him play, he was good. But then people tried to replace him in, like, every step of the way. So I'd say he's probably properly rated. Really solid performer. But could not hold a job for whatever the reason. I don't think anyone rates Carrillo. I don't think so. Overrated? Who's rating Carrillo to begin with? Sparkle on Paris was clean, though. This is true. EQO. Like I said earlier, I think EQO is maybe a little underrated because he was pretty consistent throughout his career. Yeah, Shadowburn barely played in OWL. When he did, he was good. Like, Stage 1 2018, if you watched Shadowburn, he was excellent. It's just he got benched after that for EQO, and that was that. And, like, 2019 on Paris, I mean, goats. What can you do? Did Dallas fans really rate Carrillo? That's insane to me. They were obviously worse when they had him in the game. You heard people saying Carrillo is a better Widow than Proper? That's insane! Oh my god. I talked about Nico earlier. I think he's on, like, that properly rated spectrum. That's bait. Yeah, that has to be bait. No shot. Gesture. Oh, it's hard. Because I thought Gesture was good in the early part of his career, but after that, I felt like Gesture kind of fell off. I never really thought he was the same after 2018. And people still hold on to that fact, and they love him maybe a little too much. So I think Gesture is maybe a little overrated. Coolmat's properly rated. I've done him before in a past video. I've done Krong. I think he's properly rated. I think Nero is underrated. I agree with you, Tom. I actually liked Nero throughout his entire career. He never blew anybody away, but he was always good. He was always there. It's just, he got replaced at times, was maybe a little unlucky with visa issues with the charge. He just had some problems, you know? I did Effect earlier. I think he's slightly underrated. Yeah, Nero is a little unlucky. He was always good. I mean, not great, but good. Eileen is underrated in my opinion. Oh man, because of the charge disaster, people forget that he was honestly a good player. 2019 with his Doomfist in the playoffs, his Sombra, his Genji, his Echo. Eileen played a little of everything. Tracer, like so many different things, and he was always good. I like Eileen. Underrated. Hot take, Sinatra was only good in 2019, where he was, by sheer luck, a really good Zarya and Doomfist. I don't even know if that's a hot take, to be honest with you. I did Libro earlier in the stream. I think he is underrated. Yo, Thor, what's good? Creative, I think it depends on who you're talking to. I think he's either properly or maybe slightly overrated. Although overrated might be a stretch. I've kind of changed my take on that throughout time, but I don't think he's as good as people say, to be honest with you. I think he's just fine. I did Silk Thread before. I think he's underrated. The fact that Elevon and Losich didn't get to play with each other is a tragedy. Facts. But that's how visa issues go. Roar, not overrated, properly rated. Ants? Ants is, I'd say, properly rated. Most people would just remember him as one of the greatest Widowmakers ever. You know, no big deal. Chara, properly rated, never loved him. Neptuno, properly rated, good on Philly in that first year. After that, not so much. Snow is underrated, change my mind. I don't know if I can. Based. Putting out players aside, where would you put Tree? Never really watched him play. Mono, properly rated. Jimmy, this year he's kind of moved into that properly rated range. Although some people might overrate him a little. You could maybe argue overrated because, you know, he's Jimmy, he's got a fun name, he's cool. He was fine, he was good. But some people were, like, just thinking he was an absolute unstoppable god. Most of it was memes, though, to be fair. Bunny, I think underrated. His Tracer was excellent. Edison, I think, after what he did in playoffs, properly rated. Thoughts on Assassin? Lots of ups and downs, lots of hate within this community, lots of love, properly rated. Nene, a little underrated. People just remember him for the memes and what happened with his Zarya, you know, the Nene grav. But generally outside of that, he had a lot of consistency going for him. I know he wasn't, like, always the most present depending on the meta, but when he played, I always thought he was pretty good. I swear every time you stream, I get garlic bread. There is clearly a correlation. You should stream more. I liked Nene. Taimu on main tank specifically? Oh, God. No comment. I would say that Yang Xiaolong and Late Young are properly rated. Yeah, I'd say so. Gaga, I think, is properly rated. Good first year, not so great second year. Bureg, properly rated. I did Choi earlier. I think Choi's underrated slightly. Fate, properly rated. Most people recognize him as, like, not necessarily, like, one of the greatest ever, but just one of the greats who's won a couple of things in his career. You know, he's won World Cup gold medal. He won a stage in 2018. He won grand finals. He's won multiple stages with Shanghai throughout his career. I like Fate, properly rated. Boombox, that time he was on Bastion. Vindame, in my opinion, is properly rated. Although, you know, to be fair, some people in NA don't know that much about Vindame because a lot of people don't really care or watch APAC. But Vindame was generally a star and one of the best at his role, so it depends on who you're talking to. I think he's properly rated. Nomi? I love Nomi. I have a lot of Nomi bias because he was the first tank player I got to support on Immortals, but we all know he's properly rated. He just existed. Thoughts on Hexagrams as a caster? I think he's underrated. I thought he was always pretty good at explaining things, especially to people who are maybe new to esports, Overwatch esports. I liked what Hex did. He's very informative, very in the moment. I appreciate him. Yiska rated Fate the best tank ever after 2021. Yeah, I don't know about that. Want to hear about gods? For the memes, he's underrated. I mean, he was a meme machine, but his play was just fine. Yeah, I heard Ants on stream might be done with Overwatch. I don't remember. Yeah, that cast in 2020, though. Yeah, well, that happens. Gushwei, I think, is properly rated. I like Gushwei. I think he definitely proved me wrong in a lot of aspects this year in the playoffs. He showed he's not washed. He can still be good. But he's always been pretty fine. It's just he's maybe dropped off a little since 2019. That's all. Custa casting, I thought it was okay. Bacon Jack, properly rated. Everyone keeps saying Kai did a silent retirement, but until he says something official, I'm not going to believe it. Rate Gushue's cosplay game. Oh yeah, can we take a moment to appreciate Gushue's cosplay? Is it on his Twitter? I don't remember if it's on his Twitter or not. Oh, there's this one. This is the old one, but oh man. Where is it though? Oh god. What if I just type in Gushue? Would it come up? Oh yeah, there it is. This man's cosplay game is 10 out of 10. Actually insane. Legend. Never forget Gushue violating Hottie. That was a hilarious clip. Do you have thoughts on Lemon, Kiwi, and Leg Day in general, or that they did not cast in the playoffs? I think they're good. I have a lot of appreciation for all of our casters, but a lot of people hate on them big time, which I think is undeserved, but everyone's entitled to their opinions. Gushue or super cosplay? Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, Gushue's cosplay is looking fire. Saya player, I think, is a little overrated, mostly just elite on Widowmaker. Why am I getting this in my feed? Then I saw it saying it was Gushue. Nice. Wait, what's this? He said he'd do another cross-dressing cosplay if he reached his sub goal. I'm not sure how he decided on this character, though. That's funny. Yo, Plague. Bald Sideshow versus Curly Sideshow. I mean, Bald Sideshow is just the GOAT. I have more fond memories of curly-haired Sideshow, but the memes with the egg is just too strong. Custa, properly rated. He was just a fine player. Good leader, good caster, good personality. Hello, Agent. I remember Saya deadlifted against your Valiant on Junkertown. Yep, and what was that on? Widowmaker. Sideshow on Glads, I mean the GOAT. You got real tired of Bren? Is that so? Well, I guess Sideshow and Bren weren't for everyone. I like Bren and Sideshow. Oh, never mind. I thought maybe there was news, but no. This is all that's in my notifications. It's Winton Wednesday. Like, thank you so much, Washington Justice. This is exactly what I want to see on my phone when I'm looking for news. Thank you so much. What I think about Shax? Properly rated. I like Shax. Karayan on Florida Mayhem. I completely forgot about him. Honestly, same. He was a decent Ryan. That's about it. Leaving Jinmu, rumored to spark. Yep. Heard about that. Pine. We've talked about Pine. I think he's a little overrated. Doha, I think, is a little underrated. I think Spark will stay Chinese, probably. Shockwave, I've done underrated, or not underrated, excuse me, properly rated. I think Poco's properly rated. Venom was mostly just play Tracer, it's hard to gauge, so I'll say properly rated. Checkmate is Ryan, I mean, underrated, obviously. Sleepy, maybe a little underrated, although to be fair, he wasn't good on Justice, so actually properly rated. Good on Shock, not good on Justice. Chris, I think, is properly rated, nothing special. Shu, properly rated, one of the best players. Decay, it depends on the season, depends on the time greatly. If we're talking right now, probably properly rated. There's a lot of hate and a lot of love for him. If we're talking, like, years prior, it depends. I think right now in the present, though, he's pretty, like, properly rated. Yo, Rorim, I'm good. Hope you are, too. What I think about Dante going to Mayhem, I mean, that's not real. Won't happen. How's the NetE situation going to affect the league? I believe teams will be operating out of Korea or just other places not in China. But I think Hafi calls properly rated or underrated. I haven't really watched him play. Yo, Sunder. Decay best years 2020. Yeah, for sure. Any idea why Toronto's taking so long to announce the roster? I'm sure there's some logistics involved with it. We'll hear something soon. Don't worry. It'll come out. You know, they probably want to finalize things because you don't know what things are going on behind the scenes right now. Yeah, true. Zephyr's the GOAT. I think Doha is underrated. Why is unlimited PTO? I have no idea. These trending things, usually, I don't even pay attention to them. I don't know why. Are you worried about gladiators? Yes, 100%. Internet Hulk, I mean, for what he did for this community, underrated. Thoughts on Mirror? Properly rated. He's more of like a specialist, and he played tank this year, which he was just okay on. I kind of want to see Ivy get another shot. Ivy on Fusion was Omega based. Cool Matt 69, I mean, properly rated. He was just mostly a diva guy. That's about it. I still thought Space was okay even in Season 2. Decog Knob, haven't watched him. Monk, you could argue underrated. He was honestly pretty decent on Chengdu this year. LeBron on London, thoughts? Oh yeah, let's bring that up because this is what I love to see on my phone. Please, wait, where is it? Where'd it go? Wait, Spitfire, where'd you go? Like, why do you post this? Why? What is the point of doing this when troll accounts could just do it for you? Man. What about Fitz? I think he's properly rated. He was just fine this year. Dante to Glads, I think would be a good move. Chengun, I mean, you know my thoughts. He's overrated. I'm not a fan. Hottie Season 4, properly rated. How does this affect LeBron's legacy? Why didn't you put Paintbrush for Dallas's least famous player? I mean, Paintbrush is a shout, but I feel like a lot of people know him because he's one of the memers, you know? I associate him with like Apply and people like that where you know them for memes. Halo of Thoughts, I think he's overrated. Thoughts on Chara? Properly rated. I never really saw the hype with him. He was always just an okay player. He was never, like, the worst player at his position, but he was nowhere close to the best. Siegel on tank specifically, I thought he was insanely good on Diva. I'd say a little underrated. I thought, you know, he with a little bit of, just a tiny bit of practice, he immediately became one of the best Divas. I said Custa earlier, I think he's properly rated. But is Ance overrated properly? I said Ance is properly rated because I think a lot of people recognize him as one of the greatest snipers ever. Thoughts on Bren Widowmaker? Pretty underrated. Color Hex, properly rated. A lot of people hated on him, and it was for good reason. Fury overrated past Season 3. I mean, I agree. Oh my god, Agilities and Kariv's cooking show is so underrated. I loved that. Gamer Snacks was so good. Oh, you're taking me back. Kariv on DPS and Zarya specifically. His Zarya was god-awful. His DPS was okay. His Widow was good. See, they're not... See, I don't think Florida's support duo is the most forgettable players from during their Season 1 just because they were part of that meme team. You know, of all the fancy entrances. It's easy to remember them because of that. Also because they were so bad that people talked about them a lot. I said Choi before, properly rated. Spree, properly rated. Thoughts on Lanks out of Shanghai rumor? It's a little bizarre, and I don't love it. You have to say lasagna is overrated? Oh, man. I simply disagree. Mexican food, properly rated. I think it's pretty beloved. Boink and Raucous. Yeah, I'm not sure what Shanghai's plan is. Seeker, a little underrated. I thought he did pretty decent in a short amount of time on Boston. Crystal, properly rated. I mean, the Valiant thing was weird. Just fine on the Spark, but I also don't like Crystal because he's kind of a jerk, but, you know. Naga, he was good for Paris, properly rated. What about Davin? Davin was weird because he never got to play an owl. Bob from Accounting on Justice, easily the most underrated player in the history of Overwatch. Not even a question. Aspen, a little underrated. I don't think people talk about her enough and what she might be able to contribute to a team. Among, big Chengdu fan, but wonder if he was the tank I remember. He's properly rated. You might argue he's overrated because, you know, he has such a devoted fan base, but nobody was really ever putting him as a top-tier tank. He did his job. He was an iconic wrecking ball. I mean, he diffed people on Ryan at times like Bumper, which was crazy. But I didn't love his hero pool that much. I think he was perfectly fine. alexyOWL will win Season 6. What are we talking about? In someone's dreams? Like, how are they going to win Season 6? Are we going to get rid of the other teams in the league? Him on dumpstering Bumper on Ryan. That one match is one of the greatest owl moments. True. Would a Cyclops with 2 heads be worse or better than a normal human? What? I don't know how to answer that. alexyOWL winning Season 6 on Mars, based. Roshan, obviously the most underrated player in the history of Shanghai. Jonek, overrated. I'm going to disagree there. Although I do understand that I think some people definitely do overrate him and think he's just the greatest player like ever, which just isn't true. But I think generally he's one of the best players still at his position all time. Do I like Marvel movies? I do, but I don't watch them often. Swoosh, when he played DPS, I mean, it was goated. Thoughts on the game mode? I actually haven't played it. I guess that's how much I care about it. Thoughts on Bumper? I talked about it earlier. I think he's overrated. Fate Season 4, overrated. Disagree. If Jonek were to come back, how good do you think he'd be? Probably not that great because he's not in playing shape. To Vic? See, it's funny because when Florida at the beginning of Season 1 were, like, trying, but, like, still somehow losing, to Vic really wasn't that bad. It's just Florida were terrible in general, and as time went on, he got worse. So you can't really say a world where he's underrated, but I still think it's worth praising to Vic for trying his best. Mr. Cow, properly rated. Who do I actually main when I play the game on my own time? I'm a flex support. Well, a support in general who just flexes a lot in general, but I play a lot of Ana and Lucio. Those are my heroes. Thoughts on Twilight being underrated? I disagree. Vic carried the team and the bus. Underrated, if anything. You know what? That's true. Do I think Birdwing will be as good as he was now that he's back? Likely no, but he'll still be good, probably. Undead? I honestly thought Undead was pretty okay, but that's not saying much because the dragons were bad back then. Properly rated. Landon? A little underrated. I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but I think both him and Admiral deserve more credit than what they got in 2022. Because there was all the talk about Hottie and Sparker and Backbone, but I think it was key that London got a better support line. That was a huge difference. Fearless Season 1, maybe a little underrated. He tried his absolute best to carry, but it did not matter. I remember him making some plays on the monkey even back then, but what good was that going to do when his team was god-awful? Five King came back? That's hilarious. I have a content idea. How about top 10 bag fumbles in an Overwatch match? One that comes to mind is Season 4 Shock versus Houston, where Twilight as Moira goes through a teleport and then dies with ult. That's actually a really good idea. I genuinely really like that. I'm going to write that down. I appreciate that idea a lot. Top 10 bag fumbles. That is hilarious. Top 10 blunders. Blunders / bag fumbles. Thoughts on Sojourn mains? I mean, Sojourn's broken. It's not their fault. Top 10 spaghetti spills. That's also a great way to put it. Thoughts on the Washington Justice homestand president bobbleheads? Pretty based. Gamsu Season 1, properly rated. I may be a bit uninformed, but did Violet retire? Nothing's confirmed yet with Violet. The rumor is that he could be leaving Shock, but we don't know much beyond that currently. Could he retire? Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he is, at least right now. Sky from Shanghai. Just existed. Thoughts on EasyHan? I think he's like borderline underrated. Because his Sojourn actually and his Sombra are pretty decent. But also properly rated maybe. I don't know. Walmart is just fine. I think it's properly rated. It gets the job done. It's a good place to go to, buy a snack or two or to get some easy convenience things. The Walmart closest to me closed though, which is sad. Thoughts on ATP Overwatch? He's just okay. Or that guy's a loser. Don't tell him I said that though. Kappa. Thoughts on Gesture Season 1? Properly rated. Snillo was so good on Tracer. It's sad that he disappeared into the woods. True. Michael, as a player or as a creator? Because there's a big difference there. I'll let you use my employee discount. Nice. Whoa, how dare you. Thoughts on Leave? Properly rated. It was hard for him to really do anything on Chengdu this year. They're a mess. Thoughts on me? You're the GOAT. Opposed. You're a king. I appreciate it. Washington Janu? Properly rated. Not good, outside of Hog. DeFran, for what it's worth, if you look at his career as a whole, properly rated for sure. He was elite back in the day. Really good Tracer and Soldier. And he did okay, even in GOATs. He was just fine. You think ML7 could go to contenders? I mean, if he really tried, probably. Thoughts on Moth and FD God? Moth, properly rated. FD God, properly as well. He had a good and a bad season. Think it's fair. Yeah, the Hollywood grab over the roof. Based. It's a pretty sick play. DeFran, Hollywood, Zarya. Here it is. Oh, wait, that's not... What is this? Oh, this is... It's called a budget. Nice.
That's the best.
Come on.
Do it.
What are you doing right now?
3, 2, 1, go.
That is a really...
You get over the roof there?
Oh my.
Oh, you can.
What a play!
Comes
What
down.
a grab!
Thomas in the grab. They're gonna make it work. They see it on.
That's a phrase. They're like, meme grab, meme grab. Yeah, let's do it, guys. It's hilarious. Hard to believe 2019 was 4 years ago. I know, right? Can't wait to get back to it. Yeah, same. Please get here sooner, regular season. Please. Daco, he was really toxic, actually. I remember DeFran on stream was talking about how he was just awful to be around. Like, he made everyone's lives miserable. He, like, didn't show up to scrims on time. He wouldn't try. He was just a bad teammate. Hey, Penguin, thank you for the 20.
We back with donations.
I appreciate it, my man. Thank you. Always means a lot. Appreciate your support greatly. Yesterday's video is great. I'm glad you liked it, Sam, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. Titans haven't been relevant in 4 years. Yeah, isn't that wild? Didn't Byram allegedly have other players play for him in his OWL tryouts? Really? That's something I never heard of until now. That's wild if that's true. Another donation streak? I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be a war to ban Thor this time. I think we're good. What I think about Cloudy, pretty properly rated. It was hard for him to shine. Did what he could. Sky Rip Up, just fine. Any more news on rosters for the rest of the league? Things have been relatively silent recently. The only recent, you know, your donation link is in your description, though I had to go to your Twitch and click the donation link there. Oh my god. Oh, I forgot to put that up. That's my bad. Sato on Philly or Toronto? Philly. Most random OWL play you could think of off the top of your head? When Swan pinned a Pharah as Reinhardt. Takoyaki, yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna leave now, but y'all have a y'all have a great day or night. Yes. Alright, Lunar, sounds good. Yo, LV, thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Another dono streak. Also, how do you feel about Skyrip? I think Skyrip is just fine. He did what he could on Vancouver, but, you know, they weren't expected to be good. I'd like to see how he does on London if those rumors come true. Also, why Streamlabs being so delayed with YouTube, man? Oh my goodness. Most underrated player in Contenders? Don't watch that much Contenders. Oh, there's the super chat. It's gonna come in now, I think. Oh, or Penguin's thinking coming first with 10 gifted. Yo, Penguin, thank you for the 10 gifted, man. I appreciate that. Everyone who got a gift membership, I hope you enjoy. Big shout out to Penguin, you're the man. Very cool. Also, I'll play your dono now. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Thank you for the 5 again. I don't know why the message didn't play. Man, my Streamlabs is all kinds of messed up today. This is whack. Where's the TTS at, bro? Anyway, thank you again, Mr. Penguin. I appreciate it a lot. Have I done Ding? Yeah, I think he's a little underrated. I don't remember who, but someone on Houston is Tracer got booped to high ground on Gibraltar and got a triple pulse bomb against London. That's funny. Most iconic play by every OWL team. That's something I've thought about. I want to do it eventually. Would it be possible to have TTS with ATP's voice? Maybe. I wonder if I can find Swan Pins Far. Like, would that work if I do that? No, didn't think so. Probably have to look to something a bit more specific. Literally just all this. Pinsfara, Florida, Mayhem. I don't even know if that's possible. Nah. Didn't think so. There is when they cheated, though, that time. ATP is my GPS voice. That'd be hilarious. Dalton, properly rated. I find the problem with some contenders matches that the announcers just have no energy. Yeah, that happens. Anyone know when Owl will come back? We don't know yet. Have I done Super? I have in the past. I think he's properly rated. Zik? I did Sure 4 before. Properly rated. That cheat on Circuit sent Eternal to Vegas? Lol. That's great. Florida didn't cheat. Nevix, I think, is maybe a little underrated. I thought he was a pretty consistent guy, but then again, he wasn't anything special in Toronto. But also, then again, a second time, he wasn't anything great. You forgot about A-Ting until my video. Yep, that's why I made it, for stuff like that. Yeah, it sucks, Shaq. Kaluj, yep, did it. Properly rated. How do I feel about Yveltal / Xerneas? Properly rated. Corey, I said properly rated earlier. Joe Meister literally never played, so I have no opinion on him. Also, let's just take a moment to appreciate this again. Oh god, this is so choppy. What is this? Ew. No, we're not watching that. Dear Lord. ML7 took 25 minutes to discuss this play. That is wild. How I feel about Kilo? He's just fine. Remember 18 just being absolutely horrible on the level of legends like Roshan and Silver 3. That play ended Naga's career. Yeesh. What about our God Zephyr? Just the absolute GOAT. What I think of Joe Meister pre-Overwatch League, I didn't watch him play much. I forget. Did he play World Cup? On Canada? No, I don't think so. Let's see. Actually, let's see. Results. No, he did not play. Wait, he did play World Cup. That's what I thought. I remember him playing on World Cup. He got second in contenders as well. It's pretty based. Yeah, I think he was fine. Joe Meister was fine. I think he had a pretty okay career pre-OWL. And, like, second in a World Cup. Second in contenders. Not too shabby. Did I rate Unco? No, but I think he's probably in that properly rated range. FaZe has a contenders team. They used to. Yeah. They had Shadowburn and Carpe. It was pretty big. They'd go on to play for Philly together. This is what started it all. Carpe and Shadowburn. This one, Raucous and Spree. It's pretty wild. Zombs. Jinmu properly rated. Agree? Indeed, Challenger. Indeed. Most fun hero to play? For me, it is Ana. Technically, Silk Thread and Beast are on 2019 Hunters. Yep, they were at the start. Gushway, we talked about earlier. Properly rated. Wins? I don't remember much of him. You found the Swan pinning Farah clip? Yes. Actually, I don't know if you can post links in the chat. I really don't know. The most overrated caster? I like all the casters. I have no opinion. Luffy and Coma, a little underrated. I liked how they played on 2019. I'll DM you. All right. We will have a clip. Is it a good or bad thing that you knew all the players I mentioned? It's a good thing. It shows that you enjoy the OWL and you pay a lot of attention. Oh yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Semler, but it's mostly because of just him being kind of weird more than anything else, not necessarily his casting. Anything on NYXL? If we're talking news, Halo, Mr. Halo said that they're having a lot of trouble over in NYXL land. If we scroll down, according to multiple sources, the NYXL are struggling to create their planned mixed marginalized roster. Sources tell me that a large majority of professional players are not interested in being a part of NYXL's controversial roster plans for 2023. So yeah, things aren't looking good. And then, yeah, NYXL are basically doing this as a publicity stunt. We all know that. It ain't looking good for them, Chief. Oh, wait. There's actually a recent thing. Sources state NYXL have slightly softened their stance on their mixed marginalized roster. Sources stated that NYXL were supposedly looking to ensure the marginalized players on the roster started. Sources now believe that the requirement has been lifted to try and acquire players seemingly from contenders. It is believed they will be playing for NYXL slightly more appealing. Okay. So I guess things are improving. NYXL are also supposedly offering contracts above league minimum and are offering housing in NYC. Okay. That's not bad. Hopefully they put together a competitive roster and just don't do things for publicity. We're going to pray for that. Sign players that should be an OWL, not that you want to be an OWL because, you know, you want to look good in the eyes of the public or whatever. It's cool that they're at least going above league minimum, so that's nice. Have I ever been on Plat Chat or TCP? No, I have not. Or Tactical Crouch, I should say. I've never been invited on either. I would love to come on, but I'm not going to force my way onto either. I'd have to be invited. Myungbong, properly rated. Good on Boston, not so good on New York. Although, to be fair, I honestly, maybe I'll say... Honestly, no, I changed my mind. Maybe Myungbong's a little overly rated. And I'm going to say that because outside of Ana, he wasn't that impressive. And he also didn't really accomplish the potential a lot of people saw he did outside of 2020, not 2019, 2020. I felt like after that, it was just meh. Are we now competing for worst OWL team after 2021? Maybe. Which team do I think Happy performed best on? I think on the Charge he was unreal, but on the Glads he was way more consistent. For me, probably, I mean, I thought how he played this year, both on Justice and Glads, was pretty good. But I also thought he peaked on Charge. Laura over, under, I think he's properly rated. I think it'd be fun if they had a fantasy draft and a few extra people on there like you. Yeah, that'd be dope, but again, I'm not going to force myself onto anything. That ain't my style. Flower, pretty properly rated. I think we all knew he should have been a lot more. Oh yeah, Penguin, you DM'd the clip. Alright, we'll watch. Based. Alright, let's see.
Proverbial fish in the barrel now, aren't there? Now here comes the barrage.
Turning
away so as not to
Here it comes. So good.
Well, they call him there. Oh, himself up good move. Turning away so as not to blow himself up good move. they call it Swan for a reason. Swans can fly. You should have expected that.
Also, dear God, what is this recommended clip down here? Jesus Christ. Maybe Kuki was carried by Chris. After Chris left, Kuki's team has never been the same. Maybe. Spitfire 2019 GOATS rating. Properly rated. They just weren't that special. Speaking of Florida, I think you'll find a team. Probably not. Hip was okay. A little underrated in 2020 when he did play, but then he is out of there. Illicit. I know he's only in contenders, but there's a lot of hype. Is it justified? He's looked okay. He's improved a lot since his Soul days. But until I see him in OWL, I'm not going to give him a true rating. Right now, he's probably in that proper range, properly rated. Thoughts on Hoxel in New York specifically? He was good. I just realized. Remember the 4 blue teams? Wait, there exists at least one of them in the bottom 5 rankings for the season. Is this a phenomenon? Maybe. The case properly rated. 2021 playoffs, I enjoyed them greatly. There was a lot of variety in what teams could run. I felt like that's when the meta was the most diverse. It's an underrated aspect of OWL 2021 playoffs. I mean, it's sad because it's just, we knew it was going to happen. That was the problem, you know? We all knew Shanghai were going to win. There was no doubts in our minds about that. But if you look past that, it was pretty entertaining. We had upsets, some good games, really fun stuff. Kyo, properly rated. Shanghai's destruction of GOATS meta, so underrated. Fake. Overly, or I keep saying overly, properly or underrated? Definitely underrated, my man. Here's what I mean. Boston, Dallas, NYXL, London. Yeah, I see. I think Decay's properly rated because he had his good moments in 2020, and he's always been a fine player. It's just, you know, I think it's worth saying he's properly since some people love him and then other people hate him, and I think it all kind of evens out in the end with him. And in some aspects, he's overrated, and some he's underrated, because people overhate on him, and some people don't hate on him enough. Who are you? Properly rated, mostly just a Genji guy. Hoppa underrated. This year in particular, yeah. Jake overrated, IMO. Maybe I'm a Decay hater. I've just never seen him do anything. No, that's reasonable. I've heard a lot of people say the same thing. But that's why I think he's properly rated, because there's so many people who do hate on him. I don't think Decay had his best year this year. 2020. Yeah, 8 as a coach is good. Man, just reading around my post, I'm in pain. What did you say? I don't... When's the last time you commented? I'm not seeing anything. Shockwave? I've done Shockwave already. I think he's properly rated. Any hope for my boy Gangnam Jin? Probably not, to be honest with you. I'd love to see him back. I'm a big fan of his, but I don't see it happening. Hydron versus Aspire. I lean slightly towards Hydron, but to be fair, I haven't seen Aspire play on a team as good as Hydron's, so could go either way. Rascal is a player properly rated. As a coach, maybe a little underrated. How do I think Isoris will do as a head coach? I think he'll do good. I like him. Spark News? What do you mean by that? You're just saying Spark News. Like, are you asking if they're Spark News? Do you know if they're Spark News? What are we trying to say here? I came here just to argue and want to say that you're wrong. Nice. Good to know. Oops. Thoughts on Harshaw? He was fine. ROI's head coach? Yep. That is a thing. Which is more indication that Leave could be on his way to Hangzhou Spark. Someone mentioned that Super Rich would be gone if ROI joined Spark. Well, that came true. Oh yeah, I forgot. You just triggered a big memory in my head. Part of the reason Super Rich didn't go to Chengdu back in the day was because of ROI. Thoughts on Seagull? I love Seagull, and I think he needs more credit. Any thoughts on Apply? He just didn't play an Owl that much. I mean, I think in general, I like Apply, and he's underrated as like a figure in the community, but as a player, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. Xerneas to Spark would be great. I'd love to see the Spark make a big upgrade at main support, because Super Rich was arguably their weakest link at times. Been playing a lot of Witcher 3 again after the next-gen update. I've been having lots of fun. That's good. I talked about mistakes earlier. I think he was a little underrated as well. Like, just slightly. Ever so slightly. Because he was put into a role that, you know, he wasn't even supposed to be in, and he did okay. Thoughts on McGravy? Properly rated. I thought beginning of his tenure with Valiant, he looked pretty good. After that, not so much. Some people maybe overhate on him a little bit, but a lot of it is kind of justified. Wasn't that amazing as a starter. Thoughts on the June Joust qualifiers and tournament? It was fun. Trying to remember. June Joust... We didn't have June Joust this year, right? That was 2021. Or did we have June Joust this year? Oh my god, where did the time go? No, we had Mid-Season Madness. Right? Yeah. Thoughts on Violet? I feel like he gets a ton of hate nowadays. I don't think so. He's properly rated to me. He's still really good. Some people underrate his main support a little, though. Can you give a number rating alongside the over/under rating? Overrated at 7 out of 10. Does that make sense? I think that makes it a bit more complicated. I can try, but that just feels complicated. Thoughts on Boink? He's just fine on Lucio. It's about it. Thoughts on Gaga? He was one of the most hyped up tanks and contenders, but did he really shine on the Hunters, or just have the benefit of being compared to Chengdu's terrible tank situation beforehand? It's a little of both. Because in 2021, he was good. He was pretty darn good on Ball, Monkey. I think he has solved a lot of Chengdu's problems. That's part of why. He hasn't been that amazing in recent memory, but so have Chengdu in general. They kind of fell apart this year. I think it's unfair to judge him completely until we see him for another year, hopefully. I don't know what's going to happen with Chengdu. It's really difficult to say. But for what it's worth, I think that Gaga last year, well, 2 years ago, was pretty good. Never understood the hype around Flora. He carried NYXL. I think that was the big thing, you know, back in 21. I saw what you said, Michael. I just don't know if I want to do that. I hated Boink and Raucous during GOATS. I swear they constantly stacked their ults and made me mad every time. Yeah, no, it was awful. We're not even sure if Violet will be on the team next year, sadly. Or, well, this year? Yeah, this year. Compared to late Overwatch 1, how much fun or have you enjoyed Overwatch 2 so far? Because personally, I haven't had that great of a time. It just feels like Diamond is like gold now. So in general, gameplay wise, I think there's a big improvement. It just ranked is awful, but I don't really play a lot of ranked, so it's not a problem for me. Tryhardy and quick play with friends is the way to go right now, I swear. Ranked is a joke, though. I agree with you in that aspect. I might play some ranked soon again here on stream. Not this stream, but in the future one. It's just hard. It's not really that fun. Matchmaking sucks, which is why quick play is kind of the more enjoyable game mode right now. Thoughts on the holy pig? Gaga to New York, lol. Choice A1, underrated. Thoughts on Teru, underrated. Snillo, properly rated. Video idea, best meme for every OWL team. That's not a bad idea. Thoughts on AKM? To be honest with you, I think AKM's a little underrated. It's not that he was like this god tier player that people are forgetting about. It's that people just associate him with the AKM blade more than anything else. It's all about just that one meme that defines his career, which I think is very unfair for him, because when he did play, he really wasn't bad throughout his whole career. Like, World Cup, OWL, pre-OWL, he was good. Like, not top tier by any stretch, but his hit scan was good. His Widow was maybe, could have used some work, but like he was an okay Zarya and Goats. He could play Soldier really, really well. People forget about his Soldier. I actually kind of dig AKM. He was fine. Underrated. Now I have too many memes, true. Thoughts on Arhan? Very underrated. I think Arhan's just okay. Didn't do anything on Houston. Thoughts on Kevster Hitscan? That's where he originally played in Contenders. I think he'll be fine on that role if he does go back to it. RCK, properly rated. Have I done Jexay? Yeah, I think he's a little overrated. Kevster, properly rated. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world. Most people know that. I did Krong, yeah, I think he's properly rated. Closer, properly rated, just not special. Kareev, I want to say underrated because I'm biased, but I know that's just not true. He's properly rated. He had his moments, also had some inconsistencies and some weird ups and downs in his career. But at his best, pretty darn good. Bernard's underrated. Recently, not so much IMO. Rio, properly rated, not that good. I always thought Rio was mid throughout his whole career, and I never saw anybody hyping him up anyway. Closer versus opener, who's best? I'd take closer over opener, but that's not saying much because I don't like either of them as a player. Thoughts on player names or people with regular names like Jerry and Jimmy? They're amazing. Kevster always grinds hit skin an insane amount on his 47 ranked accounts. I mean, yeah, he's just good at the game. I think that's an exaggeration. I don't think he actually has 47 accounts, but yeah. Lip is properly rated. One of the best in the entire world. Kalios? I've done him in a video before. I think he's on that properly rated scale. Where I think most people respect what he's done. Be it like at the beginning of his career on Boston, what he did on New York, Washington. He's always been serviceable. Neptuno is like on that properly rated scale as well. Really good Mercy in Season 1, but I thought he fell off after that. Reiner's properly rated. He was just one of the better tanks we had. Some people might say overrated because his Junker Queen wasn't that good, but I won't let one stage define him. Eggs Benedict. I've never had it before, actually, believe it or not. Shu, properly rated. Opinion on Ansem Season 5. It's hard because he just wasn't there that long. It's just fine. His Widow was good. He was like a specialist. Properly rated. ATP should do the naming all players now one more time, but can't be season 3. Any chance do you know how I look? I think I do. I think I've seen you on Twitter. Corey was a big what if. Yes, true. I don't think Rio was very good. I think that's a stretch, personally. Outside of Winston, I just was unimpressive, in my opinion. I do remember that, Toasted. That was such a great meme. Get you guys ice cream. Proceeds to win the game. Should just offer them ice cream every game, man, I swear. Sparkle, properly rated. Pretty legendary. Space, same thing, properly rated. Just consistent. What player do I miss the most? For me, it's Agilities. He's my favorite player ever. Yeah, Rio Orisa double shield was good, but that's one meta. And everything else just wasn't that, solid. His Winston got worse over time, too. Like, I'm giving him credit on that. But I don't know. I just didn't like Rio. I didn't. I thought he was very mid. Stratus, properly rated. I think people mostly loved him for the memes. He's just a fine player. Like, okay on some projectile things, May. How's Fuel doing? Found a main tank now? No. Right now they only have Hanbin still. Did you know there are 4 confirmed players in APAC right now? Shy, Gushue, MN3, and Zest. Is that really it? Oh, dear lord. It's crazy. I mean, that's true because APAC, no one knows what they're doing right now. This year in particular, you think Sparkle was underrated? I can see it. His Reaper doesn't get talked about enough for what he did in playoffs. That's for sure. Rihanna. Don't really listen to her music. Super properly rated. For what he's done in this community, it's just a pretty awesome guy. He's a multi-time champion, World Cup champion, all those things, It's good Reinhardt. I thought he was just better than people gave him credit for in some roles, but, can't really say he's underrated by any stretch for what he's accomplished. I'm 37. His story is cool, but aside from that, just a fine player, nothing out of the ordinary. Unter, underrated. I think he should be a head coach. How's Toronto doing? The rumor is they're getting a fully North American team, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I miss the old days too, Genesis. Yeah, Alpha U was crazy. Yeah, no, that's true, Harris. He might not want to be a head coach, but I think he should be, because he's that type of guy. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is more of like an individual guy. Thoughts on Sharik? Oh, God. Properly rated. He was a meme. Which is your favorite hype intro in Season 5? Oh, I didn't like any of those, man. I really did not enjoy watching those because they overplayed them. I think New York's was pretty cool, right? Don't remember. Or Toronto, or one of those two. Houston, I didn't like because they played it all the friggin' time. Apply, coming from a former Valiant fan. He just didn't play enough, It's hard to really judge him. What I think of Shy, he's one of the best DPS in the entire world. Shy's a god. Roki? He's properly rated. He wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but he did his job. Hisu, I think, generally is properly rated, but apparently some people in chat earlier were saying that people are slandering him. and that he, like, apparently the community doesn't love him as much as I think. So maybe he's more underrated than anything else. Because apparently some people don't like Hisu, which I think is incredible. Imagine if McGravy convinced Halsey to reform online. That would have been sick. Gator, I think he's properly rated. He had his run in 2020, or 2021, excuse me. And in 19, his Sigma was pretty important for Atlanta Reign. Which is weird to think about, that he played Sig for them, like, because he was a main tank. Cruz is a feeder. Yeah, it's a good one. Classic. Space, I think, is just fine. A lot of people love him, but no one thinks he's an all-time great. Nevix, I think it depends on the season. I think on Shock in 2018, underrated. After that, just meh. On Toronto, had a chance to prove himself, and he just wasn't good. Okay, question. If a huge celebrity were to try and get into competitive Overwatch, who would have the best chances? Well, who are huge celebrities that are, like, decent at gaming? Like, it's hard to say. I mean, given that he likes Overwatch, I'd love to see Luka Doncic try and be a pro Overwatch player. But I don't know how good he is. I don't know if he's any good at ranked. Zed. Oh yeah, isn't Zed pretty decent at gaming? Wasn't a member of BTS, like, really good at Widow? Probably. Not to be mean or anything, but you are good background noise. I don't know how to take that. Thanks, I guess. I talked about Soon. I think he's properly rated as, like, a French legend. The GOAT at each role. It's hard to say. Who do you think the Charge will acquire? At the moment, favorite team for 2 years, and they seem to pick it up at the end of the season. I don't know what the Charge want to do. That's the problem. I don't know if they're going to ditch everything like a lot of other APAC teams. I don't know, man. It's so hard. It's so difficult. Yeah, probably Landon or Padoshan. Gaguri purely as a player, just fine, properly rated. She wasn't, like, above average, but she got the job done for Shanghai for sure. It's just that team was terrible. Kyler Murray's also a good shout. He games a lot. Logix. Properly rated, he had his ups and downs. I think the problem is a lot of us associate what he did in 2018 Florida when, he played on a bad team. He had chances to prove himself on Defiant, but for the most part didn't. So he's just okay. Did you join late? Kind of, yeah, we're about 2 hours into the stream. Rain, I think, is hella underrated, but I could be biased as a former Valiant fan, sadly. I like Rain. I thought he was pretty darn good in 2020. Good Mercy, good Lucio. Decent Brig. I think that Logix is slightly overrated. I think that's fair. Where he was good on a bad team. I think that's a fair opinion to have. Cruz, was he actually a feeder? Not necessarily a feeder, just nothing special. Body overrated AF. If there was a award for bottom 4 tanks, you'd be on it. Sheesh, I wouldn't go that far. It's fair to maybe say he's overrated, but wow. Thoughts on Kib? I haven't heard that name in ages. I loved Kib on World Cup and even early Charge, but it's not like he did much. FD God, no, but I think he's about properly rated. He had one good year and one bad year, and I think that kind of balances my opinion on him. Suna, I don't have much to say. He just never plays. I think Super is properly rated. Did Kip actually play? Yeah, in Season 1 a little bit before Nero turned 18. I talked about Krong. Unko I talked about. Corey I talked about. Thoughts on someone getting the Dennis Havalko Award stripped from him by Hottie? Originally, I was malding about that, but I think that Hottie really deserved it based off of some of the stuff I've heard. How about soon we've done him? Nero, I did. Dante, underrated slightly. Yes, I agree. I thought he should have won Roll Star, but maybe I'm just biased. Stratus, we did. Elk, just barely played. I loved him on Fusion University, though. Soon on Boston is such a big what if. Yeah, it would have been cool to watch him play on that team. Yeah, I do, Sleepy. I think they'll be pretty solid. Not a contender, but still good. True Bake, true. Sansam, yeah, it's just okay. I think outside of Hog, he wasn't that good. I think we might be running out of OWL players to rate. True, we're getting a lot of the same ones now. Nico, we did. I look up and there's a Season 1, 4, and 5 quiz on Sparkle. Or Sporkle, excuse me. Or Sporkle? I don't know. Also an end of Season 5 version 2. Should we do that? Should we do a roster quiz? I mean, Season 5 could be fun. The league being mostly online takes away a lot of the personality. Yes, true. Do a roster quiz? Alright, let's do it. Overwatch League Season 5 roster quiz. Let's see. End of Season 5 rosters quiz. Is this accurate? I mean, this looks... Yeah, I mean... Oh god, there's so many ads playing, dear lord. Oh, I forgot I have to... Wait. Dang it. Whatever. Okay, the question is, do we do this together, chat? Actually, no, because I don't know how many of you I can trust. I'm quizzing myself, too, to see how much I can do. Get out of here. Okay, I'll move myself over there, like so. We could do it all together. I'll leave it up to you, chat. Do you want to watch me suffer, or do we do it together? Let me put up a poll, actually. That'll be easier. Do I do this roster quiz with chat's help or alone? Together. I wanna watch you struggle. Lol. There you go, chat. I feel like I know the answer, but might as well. Hashtag pain and suffering. Yeah, this looks like a pretty decisive poll. This is this year, Ivy. Could do it as a video too. That's true. I could record the VOD. Not a bad idea. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hide you, chat. That's the only unfortunate thing. Because I don't want to cheat. I'll have to do it myself. I'm starting now. Good luck. Alright, yeah, this poll seems pretty obvious. Yeah, you guys want me to do this alone, which is fine. Alright, let's see how I do. I'll record the VOD, because why not? Alright. Season 5 roster quiz. We're going to see how many players we can name from the most recent season of OWL. No cheating, I'm just going to go for it. We're going to type in everyone. I should be able to get most, if not all, of these people, and if I don't, that's kind of sad, but we'll give it our all. We have 15 minutes, and we got to get 148 people. Will we be able to do this? I don't know. Let's find out in 3, 2, 1, and go. Atlanta Rain, tanks, Gator, of course, Hawk, the classic combo, DPS, Venom, Kai, Nero, Speedily, support, Ultraviolet, OG, and then they also got, what's-his-face, Vigilante, who I hope gets to play at least a little bit for them this year. Boston Uprising had, wait, 3 tanks? They had Punk. Oh, dear lord. They didn't have, wait, did they still have Itzel? They did. Okay. Definitely not Marvel, right? Oh, wait, no, he's on Valiant, but, Crimzo, and MCD as the double flex support with Faith. They had Valentine and Victoria. And then they picked up Seeker. And I'm having a hard time remembering who the other tank is, so that's fun. It's not coming to mind right now. Oh, wait, it's Mag. There it is. Bang. Chengdu, Gaga, Daizi. Oh god, how do you spell his name? How do you spell his name? I don't remember how to spell this guy's name. No. I don't remember. It's Daizi. Is it with a Z? It is with a Z. Poggers. Of course they have Leave and Jinmu as their only DPS. Monk. Nisha. Dallas Fuel. Sparkle. Doha. Grio, Edison, Hanbin, Fearless, of course, the OWL MVP, how could we forget about him? And then they only had Chio Fielder at support, well, only, I shouldn't even say only, they're gods. Tank, they just had someone. They did have Adam before, but they got rid of him. Sag, Hydron, and someone... Oh, wait, not someone. Checkmate. Not someone. Dear lord. Hydron, Checkmate, Exy. But Jed... To put in Surmachet, I guess. Fair enough. RuPaul. And Animo. Charge had Piggy. They got rid of Rio, right? Yeah, no, still. It's Krong. Choi Se-wan of... Oh, wait. Choi... Oh, dear God, how do you spell his name? Choi Se-wan... Choi Se... Oh, God. That's a problem. Ah, we got it. Nice. Excellent. Choi... no, they got rid of Eileen. They had Jimmy. Prita. Farway, 1987. And Xerneas, formerly known as Yveltal. Spark. Gushway. Other tank was Bernard. They had Architect. Shy. I almost said Adora. Holy moly. Alpha Yi. Wrong season, ATP. Wrong season. Alpha Yi, Shy. Architect. Pineapple. There are a million supports. Taro, Super Rich. Irony, and Neko. Mr. Player Coach. Outlaws had Dante at Tank. Why do they have him labeled as deep? Wait, no, it doesn't matter. Because they also had Doge. Merit, Pelican. They had 3 supports, and they were Lastro, Lep, and Creative. Spitfire, Hottie, Poco, Shax, Sparker, Backbone, Admiral, and Landon. LA Gladiators, Space, Reiner. DPS, they had just Kevster and Happy, the 1-2 punch. Supports, Shoe, Skewed, and Funny, Astro. Valiant, they had Marvel, like we said before, as well as freaking Sashin, which was such a weird pickup. I still don't understand it. Then the plethora of DPS. The one that you have to put in right away because you'll forget it is Haker. It's crazy that he was there. Easy Han, of course. Our boy Dia. We had Lanksa and Molly at support. Oh dear lord, who else do they have? Innovation. Is Dia Innovation, Easy Han Haker, and someone else, and I'm forgetting who it is. We'll go back to it later. Don't want to dwell on it for too long. And like I said, Flora, Yaki, Gundam Jin, One, Ansun J, Kellen. They got rid of Young Bung. Oh, I can't remember who their other support is. Why can't I remember? Ah, jeez. We'll have to go back to that too. Eternal, Craw-E, Mouthful, Rack Attack. Oh god, Paris is like so unmemorable, man. Rack Attack, Mouthful, they had, not Wob, Dove. Someone else. Not Wob. Oh, it was Wob. Okay, cool. Oh, and their other support was Lucamino. Got it. Fusion, we can blitz through here. Fury, Carpe, MN3, Zest, Aim God, Fixa, Belos Rhea, Shock Kaluge, as well as Mikey, Proper, of course, the MVP of the league, Sam, Kilo, Striker, Vile 2T, and Finn. Soul had Smurf at tank. Prophet, MVP candidate, Fitz, the man. Stalker, ooh, how do you spell his name? Like that? There we go, nice. Iris, and Vindame, on his way to the Shock, which is cool. Void Fate, Dragon's Tanks, can't forget him. Fleta, who are you? What's that? Fleta, who are you? And Lip, Izuyaki, Lee J Gon, and some people might forget they had freaking Bebe on that team for some reason. Defiant had Muse, Hoppa, Twilight, Chorong, Finale, Hisu, although Vancouver Titans, Mirror, oh, I'm forgetting his name. That's fun. I'll think about it after, I guess. Masa, Aztec, Sky Rippa, DPS, they also had Aspire and a King. And for some reason, their tank's name is escaping me. Maybe it'll come back to me. Washington had Kalios, Decay, Assassin, Not Aim God or Arc. I'm thinking of Season 3 now. What is wrong with me? Opener, Krillin. Okay, so I have 144 out of 148. Oh, I just remembered a London player. They've Khan. Nice. Oh boy. New York. I'm missing a support player and I don't remember who it is. Oh god. The support line was so bad. They got rid of Myungbong. It can't be. It was Myungbong. They got rid of him though mid-season, didn't they? Whatever. I need a Valiant DPS and a Titans tank. And I know the Titans tank, I just can't remember his name. It's False. That's it. Got it. I have one player left. A Valiant DPS. I have Dia Innovation, EasyHan, Haker. I got the hard one. I got Haker. But there's Dia Innovation, EasyHan. Oh, it's Becky. Yes, sir. Let's go. It's a 148 out of 148. We had 4 minutes left on the timer. 100% score. The average score is a 68, which is pretty good because not everyone's a nerd like, you know, me and some of you guys watching this. So I'll take that. Easy clap. GG. I can't believe I forgot poor Becky. I don't know how I forgot him. I love Becky. We take that, though. We take that all day. We did it, chat. Well, I mean, technically, I did it myself. I didn't get any help. We all knew you secretly had chat open. Ah, yes, of course. And I had my chat closed away. You don't have to worry about that. Did I miss off-season talk? No, we've been doing it. Chat just wanted me to do a roster quiz, so we went ahead and did it. He only pretended to look stupid. Poor con man, took you so long. I mean, to be fair, it's not like he played on Eternal. Who's Haker, though? Yeah, that's a good question. Just a random guy they signed that never actually played or, like, scrimmed at all. Yeah, Myungbong doesn't count because technically he was released mid-season. That was weird. Bone back, yeah, true. I mean, hey, Challenger, 139 for 148 is still pretty darn good. You didn't even get paid? Is that so? Dang. Any APAC signings? No. It is dead quiet in that region right now. Although the rumor is that the Spark are getting Jinmu and Leave, so there's that. I suppose I can head over to the Liquipedia and do rumors. Oh, not 2022, damn it. Rumors 2023. I heard that Infernal was signing Mag. Yeah, that's from a long while ago. I guess they didn't update it yet because Halo reported on it. Spark are to announce their roster in late February. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. The Spark did say that. It's so hard for me to keep up because right now I have notifications off on my Twitter because everyone on the timeline is just spamming random nonsense. But yeah, due to extended free agency window and preparation time, we're going to announce our roster for 2023 at the end of February. So that's cool. That's something to look forward to in a month and a half. I'll take a -2 since I heard some names you said. Khan and Daisy. Understandable. I forgot, I gotta move my face cam back here. I don't know if you already did this since I just got here, but can you do Punk for the underrated, overrated thing? I think Punk is either slightly underrated or properly rated. I thought Punk was a big carry on Boston, and I appreciate his efforts, and I think on a better team he could be really good. But I don't know. Any hope left for Chengdu? Right now, things don't look good, just being honest with you. They had no money during last year, and I don't know if that's going to improve. What's that devil's face logo I just saw? That's the... Oh, did you not know about that the Fusion changed to Soul Infernal? Fusion rebranded. This is the Fusion. Soul Infernal. Yeah. They rebranded. The Spark roster will be Jinmu Gushue, Leaf Shai Xerneas, Teru. I don't think Teru, it doesn't sound right, but everything else could be possible. Billy got second so bad they became a demon. Yikes. I don't know if I'd say Titans are a dark horse team, but they're fun. The roster is fun. Okay, so the thing with that is, Colton, yes, China does have sick players, but can Chengdu afford them? And how many of them would be willing to take minimum contracts? Because that's what I'm pretty sure Chengdu is going to be looking for. Inspire me to start some sort of blog, which is to make people interested in OWL and the Russian-speaking part of the Overwatch community. Thank you. You know, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad I can serve as some inspiration for you. That's great. You can always use more people in the scene. Had a vision, just trust me. 2 LA teams, 2 Seoul teams. Ah, yes, but of course. Who else they gonna sign? Hager and Roshan? Of course. I mean, to be fair, the Dragons supposedly might be signing Langsa, who is Chinese, so I don't know. I don't know if it's on this rumor mill thing. Don't think so. Philly's still going to be second for their own country, rip. Is it possible Valiant Hunter's going Korean? Valiant, you never know. Chengdu, I doubt it. Shanghai could be mixed again. I don't know. Those rumors could be false, though. They could go fully Korean, which I think would make more sense. But I don't know. Sounds like it's 0-40 again in Shanghai land. I don't think so. Hey, there you go, Arthur. Look at that. Got some interested people. Pog. Yeah, I'd like that too. For Moon to do that. Moon actually has a pretty good eye for talent. Getting PTSD on 0-40 Shanghai? What do you mean? They're the GOATs. Yeah, same. I had such high hopes for Chengdu. Like, they were riding such a high after their initial free agency period, and then money happened. Then they were forced to sell their soul and nearly leave, but they somehow got them to stay. I hope 2U gets a team. I've heard a lot of good things about how he's performed in contenders as of late. So we're going to hope that something can happen there. Hear me out. Eternal and Vancouver copied Infernal's idea just before the rebrand. Ah, yes, but of course. Imagine Moon pulls out a rando and goes Japanese. 2018 Dragons versus 2021 Valiant, who would win? Is it sad that I think Dragons would win? I don't think it is that sad, because at least the Dragons had some competitive sets where they almost won. The Valiant never got close. That's my argument, at least. It's true that it's a different era, different games. Well, not different games, but different era of players, different caliber. But I think 18 Dragons, had more exciting tanks. They had Dia. I think they could beat that team. That 2021 Valiant team was designed to fail. At least the 2018 Dragons tried. Like, they sucked, but they tried to at least be decent. The Valiant, they were just set up to fail completely, and that's just the truth of the matter. Fearless is on Houston, though. We're talking about 2018 Dragons, not right now in the present. I still find it funny that Valiant... Yeah, the Valiant were just so bad. I think Valiant 2021 won because the level of play just gets higher over time. Yeah, and that's a fair argument. I just think the issue is that Valiant team was... Like, even in the future, they're... Like, for that time, that's just... The talent is so bad. Like, if you took 2018 Dragons and planted them into 2021, I think they'd beat that Valiant team, personally. Like, with modern day practice, modern strats, I think they'd beat them. Yo, what's up, Elliot? Good to see you. Why do I feel like this happens? Houston is the team where the top or MVP people get thrown to Houston. I mean, yay, my city gets highly praised people, but I felt like it's a throwaway. I don't know. We'll see. Yep, Carpe's gone. Sag. Unlucky. I didn't miss anything in the transfers, right? No, I just want transfers. Oh yeah, O2 boss stepped down, Sag. That's about it though, huh? Now who stays for 5 years next? With the state of the league right now, no one. Yeah, true, Dragon Fist. Carpe's gonna be playing his first Valorant game this weekend? Oh, is that so? I might have to check it out. I'm not much of a Valorant guy, but I'm a big Carpe fan. Yaki needs a good team. I feel for the man. Yeah, same. Violet is leaving Shock. That's what the rumor is. Nothing confirmed yet. It would be sick if Violet actually stayed on Shock. I think it's unlikely, but if he did, a support line of Vindame, Violet, and Finn sounds stupidly overpowered. Season 3 coach for Florida was kooky. Violet Funny Astro sounds aggressively good. On paper, yeah, but I don't know. Hey, yo, Keon. Thank you for becoming a member, my guy. I appreciate it. Much love. Thank you for going above and beyond. Always see you out here in the streams. It means a lot to me. Thank you. I want Florida to do well. I think they could be, like, secretly scary, but I'm not getting my hopes up. The thing with Violet Funny Astro, though, is I feel like I've seen that movie before, which scares me. Then again, Astro's a lot more of an intelligent player than FD God was, so maybe it could work. Yeah, that's my fear. Violet FD God, I don't know. Gotta go? Alright, well, I appreciate you stopping by the stream. It sounds overly aggressive, but I know that Astro can play more intelligently than someone like FD God. Overall, though, I still don't love it. Just send Violet to Boston. Imagine. Imagine. Just because no one else can have him. Lol. Opinions on Sauna? I think he could be a pretty okay player for Florida, especially with OWL level coaching. I'm not expecting him to be this god, but supposedly management thinks that he's a good way to round out their DPS rotation, and their scouting's pretty good, so I'll give him a shot. Finzi, he was just meh. Probably like in that, I'd say he's just properly rated, just okay. I can't really have a hot take on someone like Finzi. It was just meh on Paris. That's about it. Assistant coach for Atlanta. Didn't they get, Wizard Young? Yeah, they got Wizard Young. Which is weird. Silently think if this guy's a joke after what happened on Washington. But in all fairness, he was, like, you know, good in the not head coaching roles, both on New York and Seoul. He's just not meant to be a head coach, the self-proclaimed genius, so to speak. Will I get slapped if I say Dream Casper or Muffin? I don't know if we get slapped, but, you know, not exactly names that people like to remember. J-Mac? J-Mac didn't do anything in his career, and I also thought, you know, what happened with Paris and the coaching wasn't that great either. Don't love what I've seen from him, so J-Mac, properly rated. He was kind of bad on London, to be honest. But then again, London sucked in general that year. Muffin is buff now, completely different. Dang. I just woke up. Where did I... Oh, I didn't announce the stream. I kind of just did it. On impulse. Is Junbin the Shock still rumored? Yes. Anyway, probably more memes on the timeline. Yeah, as I thought. Off-season panel tomorrow. Ooh, that could be pretty interesting content. Got Baroy, Noki, however you say her name, Pri. This is a pretty stacked looking panel. Oh, whoever is in charge for Washington, I guess? Who would that be? Don't even know. Probably him. Get Amaze as GM and head coach. Is that so? That's crazy. He got GM and head coach. Wow, it's a lot of responsibility for a guy who hasn't coached in over a year. Good for him. I didn't even realize that. Check out Uber Sleep Nanoblade tweet. Uber. Oh my god, that was filthy. Woo!
Oh my god, it was a
Dang. That's pretty cool that they're giving him that kind of trust. I hope it works out. Get Mazed is a Chad. A very Chad-like individual, if I do say so myself. Is Kai the worst coach ever? That is a good debate to have. He was pretty awful, but was he the absolute worst? I mean, there's some other bad coaches. It's hard. He is pretty up there. Kai was pretty bad in OWL. What's his competition, though? Who's Kai? 2018 coach of the Dallas Fuel. I'm trying to think. I mean, Florida, who was it? Mineral, though? I don't remember who was coaching them in season 1, but he was horrible. Oh my god, it's a lot of formers. Holy moly. Oh no, it was Ryder. I think it was Ryder. I was thinking he was an assistant coach. Oh no, Mineral's right here. Here he is. Mineral, and like, he was pretty bad. Wasn't Feifei bad? He was, yeah, not the greatest. Thoughts on what the Outlaws have and what they need. What they have is a pretty excellent core. What they need is maybe another tank player to fill in for all the off-tank stuff that Fearless isn't the best at. And then you want to get a reasonably good support player, and you'll be good. Reasonably good main support. Unpopular opinion, but Rush solos Krusty. I think that might be a stretch, but I think it's fair if you want to say he's better. Bring Piggy back for real. Yeah, that'd be sick. Why are all the Swedish people in OWL kind of mid? I mean, to be fair, it's not really their fault. A lot of the Swedish players that ever made it to OWL all ended up on friggin' Florida Mayhem, who were an absolute train wreck of an organization until the start of 2020, so I can't really blame some of these guys, like Zebo. Some of them were pretty bad, though, like Zebo and, I was gonna say Zupe, but he was Finnish. Like Zebo, Swoosh, they weren't very good. Kev was pretty beastly, though, and Sparker as well, true. Sparker is also Swedish, and he's good. I know Jake is out of the OWL picture, but it's too much to see him is it too much to see him taking Zoe's spot? Yeah, I don't really see that being his kind of role. Being a host, it's not his thing. Swedish players. Who else? Elivolt was okay. Manatid, Mendo. Reinforce. Oh yeah, IDDQD was Swedish. Or is. What do you mean was? Chip Zion. Coco. Dang. Snillo as well, right. After OWL looking for a Korean translator, I think Danny Lim is gone. You think so? Gonna sleep now. Thanks for the great stream and updates. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your night and enjoy your rest. For a second, I thought that said Kib, but I know that wasn't true. Just imagine by accident that Noob Hunt or Other Moments has you in one of their videos. Yeah, that'd be crazy. I'd have to actually do something relevant on stream, though. Anything new happened today? Not really. It's been quiet. Aside from the other day with Spark saying their roster announcements coming in February and then their head coach signing of RUI, that's basically it. I don't think anything's confirmed that Danny's gone. I think it's just a theory. I mean, he doesn't have anything in his bio. Bianca, Friday, and Feather, what about them? Like, are you asking me if they're under, proper, or over? I don't think Jake would want to be a translator. I mean, I think Jake wants to be something a bit more active within the esports scene. Most of them are overrated. I don't really rate any of them, aside from Feather. I think Feather was slightly underrated. I thought he did pretty well, in spite of me thinking he'd be a backup for Ivy. Bianca Friday, though, or just bleh. Bianca was worse than I thought he'd be. I was really hoping he'd beat something. It just wasn't. And Friday wasn't very great either. I used to think Season 4 NYXL was as low as the org would get. Yeah, same. Again, it just shows that they really did luck into what they had. They lucked into a solid, already put together roster, and once that team left, they had no idea how to recover. And it's not like they're not willing to spend money. They do spend money. It just hasn't worked out. Jake and ZP, I miss them, yeah. Friday was pretty darn forgettable, it's true. But at least he was a starter. Have I decided my fandom? No. Don't know if I ever will. I've thought maybe I'll go with Florida, but I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm attached to anybody that isn't my Valiant for those first 3 years. Nothing hits the same for me. It's just sad. It's like I lost a part of my soul when all that drama happened. It sucks, man. Pretty over it now. I'm happy just being a general fan. Well, that's the thing. I'm never going to forgive Immortals for being jerks. Not necessarily, like, just, like, the lies that they told and, you know, how horrible things went. They're falling out. I just can't forgive them. See, Houston, I feel like I'd be jumping on a bandwagon now if I did Houston. I'm not that kind of guy. If I support a team, I want them to not, you know, have any real expectations. Also, an org that's likable, that isn't going to betray me. Maybe I sign for New York? Yeah, maybe. Who are my top 5 players as of now? If you're talking top 5 players in general, I'd say definitely Proper and Lip for me are going to be in there. I think those two are simply a must. Outside of that, it's a little harder. Teams. Who else would I say is a top 5 player? Hanbin, probably. Kevster. Fielder. Although you could also put Smurf in there. Profit's also a shout. Yo, Psycho. Speedily. Not quite. Realize my What's wrong with me? Why is there black bars? I don't understand. Guess I'll have to fix that later. I think attack could get picked up. Attack? I'm not familiar. 18-year-old tank prospect? I mean, maybe. Played on Talon Esports. Are APAC teams doing nothing? It's because none of them really know what to do right now. Their entire region is in a complete and utter mess because of China right now, and all the stuff that's going on over there with NetEase and not renewing their license with Blizzard. So a lot of teams are very scared and have no idea what they should even be doing to begin with currently. That's the sad truth. Yeah, I heard that rumor as well, skewed to Houston. That's possible. We'll see. Chengdu don't have anyone confirmed on their team right now. All we can do is guess. I mean, there's a possibility some of them come back. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Skewed to Houston is still happening according to leaks. Just got said a few days ago. Gotcha. Should you do something like this? Rating DPS burst by mechanics, finisher, teamwork. Tank by resource coordination, game sense. Support by value, healing, and accuracy. That's tough. Why does nobody care about Sparkle? Who doesn't care about Sparkle? I think Sparkle's great. Just ignore that, it's too much. Got ya. LA and London are potential teams for Dante. I hope he goes to LA. I think that'd be cool. I do think that the Shock will pick up Junbin, yes. I just think it makes way too much sense not to happen. Yeah, I love Sparkle. He's a great dude. 2U not even rumored to join a team is sad. I agree. Isn't Dante leaving OWL? No, he is LFT. He's looking for a team. Oops. Well, he did have an LFT post, at least. It's not pinned. Sadly. He has no bio, either. It's a little concerning. He said something about Uber driving. I just thought he was kidding about that, though. I was sad when Dante left. As Atlanta now the potentially best support line in OWL history, if things go right, it's going to be up there for sure. Will it be the best ever? I don't know, because Twilight Moth Violet is kind of busted. Alright, here it is. LFTL Flex / Tank a month ago. No support, lol. Also, I love this. Drinking one of these just to feel something. Friggin' 2,600 calories per serving. My god. Just to feel something, huh? That's insane. Damn. He's down that bad, huh? Poor Dante. Oh, he's streaming. Poggers. You want to try that? Nice. Oops, that was loud. Being a free agent right now must be so stressful. Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Leak Mafia did say that Dante found a team, but I don't know if I trust them. Fair. Although maybe that's part of why he got rid of his, like, player 4 that I think he used to have there, because he did find a team. Maybe. Maybe he's being down bad with being a Uber driver because he's bored. He's just waiting for the season to start. Leak Mafia said Dante was trialing for Glads, but that does not mean a lot. Leak Mafia. Okay, they are memeing hard right now, so there's not much going on. Never mind, there is pretty much no rumors going on. Surprised Prophet hasn't been signed yet. It's difficult because APAC is a mess, right? And a lot of NA teams have a flex DPS, so there'd be zero reason to sign Prophet. It's just hard. You need the APAC situation to kind of calm down, I feel like. Then we'll probably hear about Prophet. APAC is a cluttered mess, and it seems like only the Spark know what they're doing right now. Guangzhou is said to have signed a big contract by a Korean journalist. I think it could likely be Prophet. Is that so? Is this person on Twitter by chance? Didn't Prophet say he's found a team? Did he? Maybe on stream. On stream, he said he found a team. That's sick. Do you have a set date for season to start? No. We don't even have a remote clue right now. Prophet said he found one long ago and it's a good one even. That's hype. Where will that be though? That is the big question. Will he stay in APAC? I think there's a solid chance. I think he's suggesting Soul. Well, be more specific. Soul Infernal or Soul Dynasty? I'm assuming you mean Dynasty, but yeah. You can't just say Soul now, unfortunately. And with how things are going on right now, it's just Boston at the end of the day. Soul 1 or Soul 2? Profit on Dallas would be cool. Even Glads, yeah, that'd be cool too. I heard Yaki maybe to Glads, though. Fake Soul and True Soul. I mean, which one's going to be which? We don't even know how good this team will be, the Dynasty. This might be Real Soul this year, because at least they have Zest MN3. Somebody told me he doesn't want to play in NA. I'm not sure how viable that is, though. Fair. I could definitely see that being true. Yes, that he's not going to NYXL. No shot. I hope Kai signs with Glads. Yeah, me too. I hope that these retirement rumors are not true. I'm hoping. Can someone fill me in on Hisu? Hisu is rumored to the Shock. He also said Jinmu to Spark with leave. Oh, really? What's this guy's name on Twitter? I want to know. Oh, God. I remember seeing the tweet. I remember him talking about the Spark thing. What if I just type in Hangzhou Spark? Could it maybe come up? Thank you, Spark. I appreciate that. YJW. Oh, yeah, it's him. There we go. I'm gonna think of him with a nice follow. Yo, Enzui. Have I seen the Halo tweet? Yes. Hisu Hisung, why? Yeah, seriously. Oh yeah, here it was. This was my Langsa thing, Hangzhou or Shanghai. Guangzhou has a big deal. Could that be a sign that profits going there? Perhaps. Chengdu will have a new player announcement soon. I got tagged in this. I did not even realize. Lol. Lastro Astro. They both are pretty awful. That's a Jexay to Outlaws. It's a meme. Lastro Astro is like a mouthful. I don't know about that. I think Shine Leaf could work well together. They're both exactly what the other has always needed. And I believe they've maybe played together before. I think it was on China? Team China? Team China? Oh yeah, they did play in the 2018 World Cup. They played together. I used to play in a team with a guy named Funny Lastro, and now it became reality. True, that guy put it into existence. I'm kind of itching for General Al news, aren't we all? It's painfully boring out here right now. It is painful. We need like tournaments or something. Just anything to get us by. Do you think Owl will be broadcast on YouTube and Twitch maybe? I sure hope so. I think that's a smart idea on their end. Because their YouTube contract, I believe, is coming to a close, so I think that'd be good. Would Jinmu even play if both Shai and Lee were for his teammates? I think it's possible. It just depends on the meta. Like in a hard Genji meta, I could see Jinmu playing for sure. If you want to play Pharah, absolutely. Jinmu Genji specialist. Did you ever get that 100 token drop on Twitch? Yeah, a couple of times. That was base, dude. I miss that award system. It was so much better than what we have on YouTube. And there's like ways to cheese the system too. So like some people found out that like by watching it on multiple devices, it like increases your chances. That was fun, man. I think Decay's only on Boston because they're scared of Striker leaving again. True. Yeah, 100, the random 100 token drops on Twitch were the greatest. I got a free all access pass from a drop in 2019. That's amazing. I think it was a thing in 2018 as well. It was so good being a fan of the league back then. It's just not the same. I know the competition's greater, the skill has risen, but I don't think anything compares to the first couple of seasons. They just don't. I'm sorry. If anyone is going to make Striker leave, it's Decay. I know people are memeing. I don't think Striker leaves this time. Because they got rid of Huck, and that's like the big reason why he hated Boston. How much did the all access pass cost? Maybe like, was it $10? Overwatch League all access pass price. Yes. Oh wait. Let's see. $15. But honestly though, considering it's for the whole season and you can literally view any player's POV at any time, it was a pretty good deal. I won't lie. I had a lot of fun using All Access Pass in 2019. It was so worth. I remember being so excited when DeFran got in the league and just watching from like DeFran's point of view and all these people. It was so fun. Oh yeah, and you get the badge too. I still have it on my Twitch actually. Yeah, man, it hit different. They're a partner with Coca-Cola, and I got mine for free because they gave them out by the 100. That's awesome. I actually gave one away. In 2019, after the Valiant beat the Titans, I'm like, I'll do a giveaway if the Valiant beat the Titans, and they did. Who do you think are the most underrated teams going into the... well, right now, there aren't a lot of teams to really judge, but I think Florida are a little underrated, potentially. Maybe Vancouver slightly. Some people might sleep on London a little just because a lot of NA teams got better. Thoughts on Michael Tracer? He tended to stick pulse bombs on standing targets and grabs. That's all I really have to say. If you think about it, you're just watching 70% of the time goats. I mean, yeah, that's true. But it was still fun. It was a revolutionary thing. I think the Shock will only have one tank? No. I think Mayhem look good on paper, but there's also a chance things can go wrong, but people could be sleeping on them. Only OGs remember the spreadsheet, true. Owl fan art? Oh, I forget what it was. There's one I really liked. It was like with the anime ending or whatever it was, with like all the teams in the background, like drawn. That was cool. Yeah, London could be decent if they get Sparker back, which I assume they're going to. If they don't get Sparker back, I'd be very surprised. Yeah, it was literally my first time buying something on Twitch Penguin. Yeah, that. I should probably watch Season 4 and Season 5 matches and try and get working on the C9 spreadsheet and emailing you as a video. Dante, I think Gladiators makes a lot of sense. They're over to get lethal, so maybe no Sparker. They could get both. Not like they've done much this offseason. They could do both. Because they're not getting Shax back, so. I don't think you can post it if you're not a mod. You could DM it to me, though. I mean, they'd be good in a double hit scan meta. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have overlap. I don't think you need to just have two players, you know? They can work well together. And I'm sure some of, like one will specialize in one thing better than the other too, so. Watching Shanghai destroy goats was so much fun to watch. Yeah, I agree. Barker might not be good enough with talent inflation. I disagree. I thought he was damn good. I'll be 100% honest. I only got the pass to get the Lucio emote. Dang. No, it wasn't this. It was something else. It might actually be on Owl's YouTube channel. Or it was like on Twitter. I forget what it was. Ah, man. Do you think they'll run? Oh, the rumor is London are getting Skyrip, I think. Remember when Spark Straight signed the main character from a certain scientific railgun that was based? Yeah. Maybe it'll come up if I do Overwatch League anime. I wonder if it would come up. Oh, dear God, never mind. Nope. 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 We're not doing that. Don't know what that was about. Dear God. What does Skyripple play? Well, like BAP, Zen, the typical flex support things. Played on Vancouver. Randomly searching on Twitter is quite dangerous. Yeah, I just found out the hard way. Dear Lord. I think Dallas Fuel will add more to their roster, and will Doha find a team? Dallas will most certainly add more, and Doha probably not, if I'm being honest with you. Be a miracle if Owl even survived until 2024 at the rate we're going. Fan art might be safer. Oh yeah, I forgot. E-girls on Twitter abuse the word anime. I forgot about that. Overwatch League fan art. It was like an animation, though. This is pretty cool. I just don't remember who did it. That's the problem. A Hangzhou anime April Fool's joke, probably. Who are your picks for the best DPS next year? I think it's going to be a lot of the same. Without a space in fan art. Winton. Yeah, I just don't see what I'm looking for, man. Videos. Pause champ. Nothing. Cool. Good to know. Top 10 owl memes. That could be a good one. Search owl 20. It wasn't 2019, though. It was a different year. If Proper doesn't win MVP next year, a lot of things went wrong. Or maybe another team just goes hard. You never know. (2021) Owl JAVMB. Oh god, what is that? No. Can you describe the thought, like, year tournament team? MB means my bad. Oh. Why is it not there? Yeah, that's true. I would agree. Proper is definitely rated well by the fans, but the desk loves him to death to the point where it's a little crazy. What I was looking for is like a anime ending, like animation thing that Owl did. Was it for the playoffs? I think it might have been for the playoffs. Remove the owl part. You mean the grand finals of 2021? Where they say, see you in 22? Yeah, I think that's it. My Twitter's bugged. Lol. I don't know what that was. Thoughts on Kai Kai? He was horrible. Check the last minutes of the grand finals of the 2022 full match. Take on Mag, I think he's extremely overrated. I don't think extremely overrated is the word I'd use, but I think overrated's fair. because he has not lived up to expectations for sure. But he also hasn't had good support on Washington, in all fairness. 2021. All right, let's see here. 2021 Overwatch League Grand Finals. Oh, here it is. This is what I was looking for. Yes, this is it. That's it. This is what I wanted to see. This was so cool. Although, is this really fan art if, like, Owl made it? Think Mag would be good on Philly? I mean Philly. Yeah, this was really cool. Like, the detail, too, is what I really appreciate. Everyone has, like, something going on. Oh, did they hired actual fans? That's pretty dope. One at the end, June Joust. What I think about the Vancouver Titans, I think they look pretty alright. They have a decent looking core. June Joust Finals. Let's see. Boop. Oh yeah, there you go. That's pretty cool. I love this, man. It's so cool. They're vibing, though. Look at the art. It's just so clean. Pretty sure each team individually hired people. Nice. That is so cool. He's got the Coca-Cola in one hand, the Shuriken in the other. Man, you got a little Hammond there. Little bird. Poco's got a monkey. Oh, an alarm. Is he working out? That's so cool, man. Sag. Where's that Carpe? Who wore what number? I don't even remember. Oh no, Carpe's here. That is so cool. This is like incredible. And the Shock just casually holding their trophies. Nice. I love that, man. So cool. So cool, man. We have some damn talented people in this community, I must say. Smurf with guitar. Yeah. It's pretty funny. Oh man, We've been going for almost 3.5 hours. We kind of got through the segment I wanted to do. We talked about some news things. So I think I'm just about ready to wrap it up here. Honestly. It was a good stream. We had a lot of fun, lots of amazing support from you guys. But I think I'm just about done. Opinion on Ben Best, he's just okay. He had a bad year in 2019 and a good one in 2020. But some people do think he was carried by talent. Nah. 2020 with Sparkle and Hanbin and those guys. Krawi was just bad. Properly rated. I'm done though, I think, ladies and gentlemen. The VOD will be up after for anyone who's joining in late. I'll probably timestamp when I start the section of like the over, proper, under. But thanks for everyone so much for the amazing support. Penguin for going above and beyond. Keon, any new members we got in general. Donos, appreciate all of you guys so much. And I'll probably do another stream very, very soon. Maybe some tier list stuff the next time. I was also thinking maybe to celebrate Owl's 5-year anniversary, we could do like a watch party of like a famous game, like Stage 1 Finals, for example. We'll see what happens, but I appreciate all of you guys for coming out. And I hope you have a good rest of your night. And I will see you again very, very soon. Peace out, guys.